Hello and welcome to episode 46 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe and as always I'm joined by Wib, say hello.
Hello.
And I'm joined by Drummerbot, say zdravstvuyte.
I don't think I can.
Okay, we'll just greet people verbally.
Hello.
That's fine. Okay, how are you lovely gentlemen?
I'm doing okay. How are you, Matt?
I'm very well. And Snipe?
I've slipped through the seventh thick of hell, but thank you.
Okay.
I haven't really, I'm alright.
Okay. That's good then. That's good.
That's good.
So Drummerbot, what have you been up to?
As of my not resolution, but sort of just thing of actually trying to play games this year, I finished the first episode of The Long Dark, which I mentioned I was playing last time.
I still haven't, so is it good?
Yes, it's very good. It's very good. I'd still want to play. I think the ongoing whatever, just normal, but not story mode, is probably harder. I imagine. Like you finally meet this slight spoilers, but not really. At the end of the thing, you see a bear, but it's only in a cutscene. So for basically the whole way through the first story, I didn't realise bears were in the game until you said, "Have you met a bear yet?" And I was like, "No, why? Is there bears? What?"
No reason.
I finally saw one in a cutscene, but I think in the main game, in the not story bit, you get access to a lot more crafting stuff, and I finally towards the end of the first story found not a recipe, a blueprint or whatever it is to make like a rabbit trap and things.
Cool.
But I feel like there's actually, and I haven't used any of the like workbenches or forges or anything like that. So I feel like in the actual not story game, there's probably more. It probably just drip feeds at you a bit in the story. So
I think it's kind of like diet tutorial.
But I was just like, I don't know, it made more sense to do the story first.
Yeah, I mean, when I first played it, I played just the random roaming part. I don't know if the story mode was out when I first played it. It wasn't. Yeah, and it was just like, it's like, you know when you first boot up Minecraft and you have no fucking idea what anything does or why?
Yeah, exactly.
It was literally just being dumped naked in the middle of, like, fucking Canada. It was really strange. And then you encounter a forge and you're like, what the fuck is this for? And it goes, oh, you need things to forge. And you're like, oh, so that's in this game. Okay.
Yeah. It's a relatively new game. There's got to be crafting in it. Like,
absolutely. It's a survival crafting game. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. But it is dramatically better than most generic survival crafting games.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, they get the atmosphere just, like perfect.
Oh, yeah, I've heard people being like, yeah, I'm like in the middle of Arizona, but every time I play this game, it makes me shiver.
Yeah, totally. Like, I said last time, I get, like, sore shoulders. I can't pronounce that, apparently.
Because it's so cold over there.
Well, because, like, it makes you feel cold when you're playing it, even if it's, like, well, it's actually pretty cold here, but not like that cold. It's just...
It's not deathly cold.
No,
it's a bit brisk.
You know, I find it really weird that I think of the last 3 episodes, one of you has managed to talk at length about The Long Dark.
Yeah.
Despite it being a game from quite some time ago at this point.
I think it's time to just drop the illusion that this is a gaming podcast, and this is just 3 old people rambling incoherently, sometimes about video games, but mostly about D&D.
I'm
occasionally 40k.
I'm going to try and talk about games and do games, but I can't promise any of them will be from like the last this current year.
That's fine.
Or even probably
we can't
last
guarantee
year.
that either. So you know,
because why buy games at full price if you can get them at 80% off?
Like 4 years later.
I ain't disagreeing with you, man.
Yeah, nah, you're not wrong.
As someone who
or you just wait for the oh yeah, you know all the bits we hacked out so we could sell you them like separately as DLC. Oh yeah, we're selling the complete version, or it's going to be like the definitive edition or something like
Collector's edition, or...
Yeah, and so it's like, just wait for 2 years and buy that, and then have a complete fucking gaming experience. I could go on. Carry on, Drummer Bum.
But that does, as far as my talking about a new game, or new to me game every podcast, that doesn't count, because I've done it before. So I also sat down and spent a good few hours with Papers, Please.
That's a good one.
Similarly depressing game for
Painfully.
Slightly different reasons from the Long Dark. But oh my lordy, I'm not having fun playing either of these games. They're both very good.
Playing them.
They're both very good, and I'm enjoying them, but they're not fun.
Speaking of depressing games that you enjoy but are really depressing and horrible to play, have you played This War of Mine?
I have not. I have it.
God, it's fucking depressing.
Was it you guys telling me about the board game version of it? No, it wasn't. Another friend of mine was telling me they've made a board game of that. And actually, it's meant to be really good. Like, the atmosphere carries across really well to a board game somehow.
Get depressed in a room with your friends.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I do. That's on my list. But I think for next time, I'm going to play a game that is a bit more uplifting, I think. I don't know what yet, but something that's a bit more cheery, I think.
Inside. Is it Littlest Nightmares? There's another one.
Little Nightmares, I think it is.
I can't remember. Yeah, Limbo.
I have uplifting. I have it installed Fallout 4, so that might be. Although that will take more than a couple of hours to play through, I imagine.
Maybe.
Yeah. And I will be intrigued how you feel about Fallout 4 because you like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, don't you?
Yes, New Vegas more so than 3.
I think that's pretty normal.
Why would you say something so controversial, bro? Oh my goodness.
But I did really enjoy them both.
Yeah, because I like Fallout 4, but I don't particularly like the older Fallout games, so I will be intrigued to hear the opinion of someone that does like them.
Speaking of hearing, can you hear that angry procession of keyboard taps in the distance? Wib, you're wrong. How come you don't? New Vegas is great, though.
In fairness, it works out okay if I aim my eye at Fallout 3, because people generally just agree with me then.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed Fallout 3.
I played
the console version of it, which kind of made it less of an issue. No, well, because it's not an FPS, really. It's a, RPG.
Game.
So it's not about aiming, sort of, if that makes sense.
Well, that's good, because you can't fucking aim for worth of shit in that game.
Well, exactly, but it doesn't matter. If it's on a console, that's no different to any other console shooter.
No, that's fair.
So that isn't an issue.
But anyway, would you like to talk about Papers, Please at all?
Yeah.
After that tangent there.
I played, there's an ongoing version, and there's a story version. I played the story, and I got maybe 4 different endings, which I won't go into in case people haven't played it, but at various times you can do. There's 20 different endings, and I think I got some of them are very similar. And I think I played it through. I think I did 3 endings that I knew from playing it. I was like, okay, well that's presumably a thing I can do, and let's go with balls deep on that option, and then let's do the opposite. And then I looked up just to see if there was any other interesting endings, and then did 1 more. And that took about 4 or 5 hours. Yeah, so it's and I think that's probably all I'll need to play of it. I feel like playing the ongoing stuff isn't going to add anything to it. But that being said, the 4 or 5 hours of play I got out of it, it was very good. And it's such a simple game made by a single man. Mm-hmm. So, I really like it says at the end, it says click to see credits, and you see credits, and it just says made by, sound by, this by, and it's just one name. So it's
good on
I felt like I didn't need the effort of saying click to see credits. There's more words in that than there was in all of the credits.
If you don't know, for people at home, Papers, Please is a little indie game where you have to check people's paperwork crossing the border.
Glory to Arstotzka.
Yeah, to the fictional place of Arstotzka. I can't say that.
Arstotzka.
Yes, that one. Checking the paperwork, it's like an old Eastern Bloc kind of country.
Yeah. Made up Eastern Bloc country. Yeah.
Set in a world where everyone
check passports.
Set in a world where everyone speaks like.
It's really hard to figure out what's going on in that game, honestly.
Like a sped up version of the adults from Charlie Brown, then.
Quite possibly. Which, I mean, if people could communicate better, it might solve all their problems, but.
Well, that's true of the real world as well.
Yeah. Wow, guys. Okay, what was that? 10 minutes? Come on.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say than that, other than I definitely recommend playing it. But yeah, it's not fun. But I say that not in a bad way at all.
It's not fun, but it's an experience.
Yeah. That, but less pretentious.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fucking no holds, shots fired. Oh my goodness.
And beyond that, I did quite last week because we played D&D, which I'm sure we'll talk about last weekend.
Yes. I don't think anyone cares, but yeah, I guess
I spent a lot of last week, basically because, well, we'll talk about it later, but I spent a lot of last week doing various prep bits and bobs for that.
Yeah.
And we're grateful.
So, that's about me done, though. So on to the more relevant people. Who's next?
Don't say that. We are here as a jump pad for you, sire.
I disagree with all of that sentence apart from sire.
You are sending me mixed signals, I'm going to be honest. Now, everyone in the comments is going to be like, we felt awkward saying, but yeah, who the fuck is Snipe and Wib? We're here for that drama, man. So, Wib, what have you been up to?
I have not been up to very much, honestly.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
Yeah. In fairness, it's been because we've been sorting stuff out for the house, and
yeah.
Also, there's a video that, in theory, should be out before this podcast goes live.
We don't know for sure.
Depending on if we get the rest of that recorded later today. So that's taken up some time.
Okay.
I don't want to go into it in case it's not out. So there's obviously that's been taking up time. I did play a bit of a game called Delver.
Oh, why?
Okay.
Which is a roguelike dungeon crawler. Well, yeah. Dungeon crawler thing that looks like Minecraft, but the enemies and NPCs you encounter are like 2.5D style, so like they were in really old FPSs.
Mm-hmm.
And you roam through various dungeons, acquiring better weapons, loot, like leveling up your character, finding out more about these somewhat Lovecraftian horrors down there. Occasionally getting murdered by beholders.
Oh, it happens.
And it's I played a bit of it on sort of my own time, and then I did like a stream of it probably like a week ago, and found out that I inadvertently streamed it on the day it came out of early access.
Oh,
so it really confused me as lots of little things changed.
It was just gaslighting you.
Yeah, like
live on air.
So I booted up the game before the stream, and I don't think it had updated to the full-blown version when that had happened, when I tested it. So I did a quick run of a level just to see what had happened, and then sort of went, okay, this is fine. And then by the time I came to actually do the stream, it had updated, so when I died, I went to what was presumably the new start, which made me think that the game had gone really fucking weird.
I like the idea of just like, watch Wib be a total old man about video games. It's like, I'm sure it wasn't spawning me here.
It really was. I was sitting there going like, why is nothing doing what it's supposed to? What's happening?
You were DSPing it so hard.
A little bit.
But no, actually no, because things had changed.
Yes. There was actually a problem. And it's a funny game because I quite like it. There is something quite fun about its sort of central loop of, just roaming around, getting, farming better weapons from enemies, finding the exit. Like, it's all quite engaging. But the problem is that whilst I was streaming, I had 2 good runs that both ended with me getting stuck in a hole.
That just sounds like my everyday life.
The first one was my own fault. There was a little recess that looked like it might lead to a secret area, like it was so suspicious looking.
Okay.
So I dropped down into it and then was just stuck and got murdered by an enemy that was on an area above me.
Oh.
Which was annoying but fine. Like the area, like looking at it, if you're not going, oh, that might be a secret, you go, there's no way out there. Like, that was my own fault. I'll take on the chin. The second one, I dropped down into an area only to find out that there was no way out of that area. even though, like, examples of this type of area that I'd encountered previously had ladders out of them, and there was lots of the area I physically couldn't see from the place that I dropped down. So there was no way of knowing I couldn't get out of there. More interestingly, you can't return to the menu, or more accurately, you can't just restart your run, at least as far as I know, unless there's a hidden bind for it, because I couldn't find it on the controls menu. So I was stuck in there, and if I had have killed all the enemies beforehand, and didn't have any fire spells that could cause self-damage, it would be quite possible that I would just be stuck there. And then I wouldn't know how to get out. I'd just be stuck there forever.
That's my biggest problem with those kind of, like, procedurally generated kind of maps. Yeah. Is that the art of good level design just seems to have just fucking gone out the window, because everyone's like, oh, I'll just make a fucking algorithm, doesn't matter, who gives a fuck.
Yeah.
So I don't mind it, per se, it's just, come on, can we have a nice balance here?
Well, I think the problem there is that there's kind of the two facets to it. You've got something like, say, Strafe, that is built around a genre that necessitates good level design to feel good, and so
it doesn't have good level design.
And so its procedural level design is a real damaging factor to it. And then there's something like The Binding of Isaac that's just made of connected rooms.
Oh no, but that's fine.
And then so they can individually design each room well, so that the...
Yeah, and then they just come in a random order.
Yeah, and so that's kind of fine. This sort of is sort of neither of those problems, really. It's just that they have it set up so it is possible to assemble these things in a way that means it's impossible to get out of, which is not ideal. And I've heard from a couple of people who played the early access version have mentioned to me that they don't remember encountering any of those in the early access version, and neither did I. So I don't know if they tweaked some stuff when they got to their final version.
It's not a bug, it's a feature.
So yeah, that was a bit weird.
The kids today are like getting stuck in hopeless areas where they can't leave.
I mean, I hope they, well, they don't like it. That's just the economy they were born into. Sorry. But yeah, it's a pity because I do really like the game. There is something really good about it, but just those little problems really soured me on it. Because I'm like, I want to like this, but it's... I guess, to be honest, like by now they might have patched it and fixed some of these things. Who knows? But apart from Delver, I haven't really done much on the video game front apart from continue to waste my life on Factorio.
Yeah, that's fair.
It cannot come on sale on Steam quick enough. I've been sat waiting for such a long time.
I've been building a world that has lots of trains.
Nice.
You guys are so painfully fucking English.
But I have been watching a few things. I caught up with...
All that anime titty.
No, it wasn't anime titty. Although I did see Cartoon Penis.
Oh, good.
I caught up... Well, I've got a few episodes left, but I've been catching up with the Venture Brothers.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I think we mentioned it, maybe the last podcast,
we mentioned
or maybe
it
one before.
One of the last times we spoke, but I can't remember if that was the podcast or if that was something else.
Maybe not, yeah.
It might have been, I can't remember.
That was our private conversations.
But so I caught up with that, because I hadn't watched any since the end of Season 4.
Okay, I think I got one more season beyond you, but then there's 2 more seasons after that I haven't seen, or something.
6 seasons in total now, and they're currently making a 7th, if I remember correctly.
Right, okay.
So I watched the entirety of the 5th season, but seeing the versions of it that were uncensored was kind of weird. Of suddenly hearing them effing and jeffing all over the place.
Oh my.
And not hearing the bleep.
Oh my goodness.
Which sort of took a moment to get used to, and also there's a part where Dr. Venture gets naked, and I'm like, well, that's just his penis.
Oh.
Well.
Yeah, okay.
Well, plus points for, putting that in there.
That was the thing that I've seen.
Drama about fuck off. You know damn well what I meant.
I didn't even... That would have gone completely over my head if you hadn't said anything.
Anyway. So yeah, I watched Season 5 and I'm most of the way through Season 6 now. There's not that many episodes in Season 6. So,
what do you think? Because from what I remember, and it's been a while, the latest episodes that I watched were just a bit meh. I don't know. I can't remember. There was a reason I stopped watching. And it wasn't because I didn't like it. It got a bit less interesting. I can't remember.
I think the show has definitely changed. I kind of like some of the ways that it started going around about season 4ish. It started going a bit more narrative.
Yeah.
Trying to tell a bit more of an overarching story. And it was doing that like everything past. I think season 3 is probably where that started. But yeah, I still quite like it. But it does definitely change. I do really appreciate how it's a cartoon that by the 6th season, like nearly every main character, with the exception of Dr. Venture and the Monarch, looks even in some subtle way different to how they started the series.
Okay.
Like they've changed somehow physically, just over the time period, and they're just consistently drawn differently. Even if in the case of Brock, it's just because he's always got black marks under his eyes now, and a metal plate in his
chest plate.
Yeah, he's got a metal plate in his chest. But even something as subtle as that, but some of them have had quite major overhauls. I just find that very interesting as like a series to go and do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Also watched the last 2 episodes of Discovery, which were quite good, honestly. Pretty decent.
I think it's in your contract that you can say one bad thing per episode. It doesn't say anywhere about you saying good things about it.
No,
just a reminder.
I think they getting all of the bullshit of the mirror universe out, like the basic concept of that out of the way. They were then able to tell an actual story, and finally, after 13 episodes, or however many it was, put in a twist that I didn't see coming several episodes prior. Although they, in doing so, created some odd continuity things to do with the mirror universe that the fact that it was at least surprising made me kind of forgive that one continuity gaffe.
Okay, so yeah, so it does a Star Trek then. It gets better as it goes through. So presumably the next season will be. Does it set things up? Does this next season look like it's going to be interesting?
Well, there's one more episode left.
Oh, okay. Okay, right.
Sorry, I meant when I said the last 2, I meant the last 2 that have come out.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
It was a poor choice of words on my part. But yeah, there's one last episode left. I thought there was 18 episodes in the season, but no, there's 15 apparently. And they stand at a point where they can potentially... They're not going to rescue all of the continuity issues and all that, but they've kind of set up some time travel malarkey. So it's possible they can worm their way out of some of the continuity issues they've raised over the course of the season. And, like, it has got better, and, like, on reflection, looking back at the series as a whole, there has been a handful of decent episodes. So I'm trying to stop thinking about it as the new Star Trek and trying to think about it as the new Star Trek Season 1. Because thinking about it, like, especially Next Generation, which is probably the closest thing to compare it to, considering that was the Star Trek that came back after a significant gap. That had, like, the first 2 seasons being really fucking shaky. So, I mean, I guess who knows? Maybe Discovery can be saved. I'm not putting any money on it, but it's at least going out so far, seemingly on a high note.
Ah, that's good.
But yeah, apart from that, the only other thing to mention is I'm about halfway through Ready Player One.
Ah, okay. Do you want to...
Yes, I know.
Huh?
Oh no, it's just he's kind of been periodically telling me about things or reading me certain things. And
yeah.
I'm like,
okay. I don't want to hear it. Do you want to talk about it now, or do you want to wait till you finished it?
I'll just mention a couple of things.
Okay. My guess is that you're too cynical to enjoy it for what it is.
Fucking shade.
I just don't. You see, okay, now...
My guess is that you're too much of a stupid bitch to get it.
No.
See, you have to have a very IQ to
said.
understand Ready Player One.
Not at all
Its jokes require an in-depth knowledge of metaphysics.
It's like a trashy, easy to read book all over it. I don't think it tries to be anything else.
Yeah.
Are you giving my husband porn to read?
I think it was described when I mentioned it last time as being Twilight for boys. I think you mentioned it, and I do really see that comparison. It is the guy's first book, so I'll forgive some of the just being badly written at times things, because he's written at least one more book than I have, so, fair enough. Well, I know he's written at least 2.
He's written at least 2 more books than you have. This guy's getting better than you all the time.
But I will say, the constant referencing, there are certain points where it crosses the line where I'm like, this has become ludicrous. This is like watching fucking Family Guy on level of just non sequitur references. Like, it's absurd. But the central conceit of it, the whole treasure hunt idea, does make it engaging enough that I haven't given up.
Okay.
Because there are some elements of the writing that I really, really don't like. But the central idea is okay enough that it does kind of get me through it. But also referring to the main villains as the Sucksaws with a 0 in it. And this was written in it was released in 2011, so it was when that was already, doing leet speak was already incredibly lame in the real world. It's like, wow, man, you wrote that with...
Honestly, that's moderately endearing. Aww.
I can't remember if the word leet is used in it. There is more leet speak in it, but not that much, in fairness. It's quite uncommon.
I really want to write a book where there'll be one character who literally just in text writes, speaks in leet speak. So every E is a 3. I would never ever get published, but that's okay because I think that's funny.
Crowdfunding. Just gonna say crowdfunding.
Yeah, no. Everyone, I'm going to set up a crowdfund. I'm not going to do that.
You go and do, what is it, Unbound? The place that you can get self-published books made if enough people put money in?
Yeah, whatever. I'll try that. I'll write a short story book of just some guy called, I don't know, fucking...
Just called fucking. What's his name?
Fucking.
Fucking.
I'm not going to have a character called fucking.
That's because he's the fucking protagonist.
I did read a book once where... Oh god, don't die. I did read a book once where... I can't remember what it was about. It was about this guy who had a disfigured brother. And none of the characters had names. Apart from, they were the 2 antagonists, which were just the Garners. And their sister, who one of them was having a physical relationship, was just referred to as Girl Garner. Because she didn't deserve a fucking name.
Oh, what was that?
I can't remember, but it was fucking awful. It was one of the worst books I've ever fucking read. My mum was like, you should read this because it's really dark and gritty and I think you'll like it. And I'm like, who the fuck do you think is currently in your house? Because it's not me. But yeah, it was just fucking gross. And it was oh yeah, so it graphically described a sex stain on a bed for a paragraph.
Oh, good.
And I'm like, okay, I know what you're doing. I don't know why. It didn't really have anything to do with the story at large.
See, say what you like about Tolkien and his way.
That was it. It was fucking the Silmarillion. That was what it was.
And no one could argue that because no one's read it all the way through.
I know.
And yes, I know you have with one person who's writing to us.
Yeah, no, we were everyone but you. So just
anyway, the joke I was going to make.
Yeah.
Was that you might have a go. Some people might, question Tolkien for his ability to describe some flowers at the side of the road for 2 paragraphs when he should have been talking about the actual story. But at least he wasn't describing semen stains on a bed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
God fucking damn it. I hate that book so much. I can't even remember the name of it. And it makes me angry.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, I am reading it, and it is.
You're enjoying it.
This is Ready Player One. Yeah, I am reading it, and I am glad that I am reading it, because it's very different to other things that I have read, but it is a far from perfect book, and I am more perplexed now than before that it's getting a movie.
Oh, the movie's going to be great.
I'm pretty sure I have my own movie.
I'm not so sure that's going to be the case, Matthew.
I have weird hope, because it's like, yeah, like when I first saw the trailer, I hadn't read the book, and I was like, wow, that just looks like terrible CGI fest. But then it's supposed to be a terrible CGI fest. So in my head, that makes it okay. So, yeah, depending on how many licenses to things they can get, because obviously you don't need. I think have we had this conversation? I have deja vu. Anyway, I'm still looking forward to it. I can't remember when it's out, but pretty soon, I think.
That's cool.
Yeah, relatively soon.
Who wants to see that Deadpool?
Yes.
I saw the trailer for Meet Cable today, because Cable's one of my favourite fucking X-Men of all goddamn time.
The one where they haven't finished the CGI in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, you need to see it. It's quite fun.
It's an excellent trailer. It's coming out on like the same day, or pretty much the same day as the new Avengers film, which is interesting.
That's bold.
Yeah,
I wish it was on Valentine's
I'm sure
Day
they're both
again.
coming out like early May sometime. I'm sure it's the same day.
It's isn't it like it's March 18th?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it said May the 4th in the trailer that I saw. Maybe it's
May the 4th. That sounds pretty Star Warsy.
Yeah, I know, but
I just know that there was an M, and maybe.
Okay, I'm just going to say arguing about a date that neither of you are sure of is probably not a good use of podcast time.
And yet here we are.
Speaking, actually, you mentioned
May 18th.
Okay, we were so close. You said like the 4th, and I said the 18th of March. So together we were correct.
I think it's much more productive to look at it as you were both wrong. But speaking of May the 4th...
I don't need that level of negativity.
Did people see the Solo trailer?
No, I've seen screenshots, but I haven't actually... And I think I've seen people react to the trailer, but not actually the trailer itself.
I have never seen a trailer that could have more been saved by some music from Limp Bizkit.
Okay. What? I can't say that I watched it and had those exact feelings.
I think maybe I just had, like, that fucking... What is it? I can't remember what song particularly I had stuck in my head from Limp Bizkit, but I had one and I was just kind of like... Just the back of my brain spinning it over, and I'm like, that'd probably work, whatever. I don't care.
I will say, haven't seen much of... I can't remember the name of the actor who's playing Han Solo. You don't see a huge amount of him being Han Solo, so I can't really speak for how he's looking as the character. I can say that it's Donald Glover that's playing Lando.
Yeah. Donald Glover should be everyone's hero.
Don Glover is my man.
Yes, Don Glover.
He's
Don Glover.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can't unhear that.
It's okay. He joked about it in an interview once.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said he was like 24.
Of course he did, because he's a perfect human.
Yeah, no, this is true.
But yeah, he looks suave as fuck as Lando.
Oh, yeah. Such a boss.
Also, really interestingly, the Millennium Falcon looks quite different.
Yeah, it shows like early versions of it. Or something.
The frontage of it looks very, very different.
That's actually a very nice touch, because so many other like prequels or whatever will just go, oh no, it's exactly the same.
Well, I mean, in fairness, I'm pretty sure in old like Star Wars Expanded Universe, outwardly the Millennium Falcon just looked like every other. I think it's a Corellian YT. Something.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking.
But whatever, the actual model of ship, and it just looks like those. Like the front of it that's just the standard front of them, whereas it looks like they're trying to establish that's not the case. Like that's actually like a mod of the version we see in the other movies is like a modified front. So, I mean, I wish I could say I was hopeful about Solo, but the stuff that's going off in the background of it sort of makes me think that...
Like constantly changing directors and whatnot.
Yeah, when directors change towards the end of production, that's very rarely a good sign for a film. I mean, I hope it's good, because I like it when the Star Wars
Isn't it like...
good.
The vague point of it is it's like sort of a heist film, but in the Star Wars universe.
Something like that.
That makes it sound amazing.
Yeah, I've heard...
Like
I heard that the original version that was being filmed was much more comedic. Because wasn't it... Wasn't it the people that did the Lego movie that were doing it originally?
Oh, really?
Maybe I'm wrong about that. I just remember it was a pair of people, and it was a pair that did Lego movie. I may be hideously wrong about that. I'm just misremembering something. But anyway, it was going to be more comedic. And yeah, that was not what Disney were happy with. And so they brought some other people on board to finish it off. So
the mouse put his tiny foot down.
His very tiny foot. Although saying that, you see Mickey Mouse next to a human, and his feet are usually actually larger.
Yeah.
I refuse to be involved in trying to appeal to foot fetishists on the podcast, and what you're doing is sick, because that's not true to what we want to talk about.
That's fair. Oh, okay. One brief thing, mentioning the Lego movie, whether or not it was relevant or not. I did actually watch the Lego movie and Lego Batman this week.
Oh, yeah. What do you think?
I really like them.
They're good fun, aren't they?
Managed to be something that is literally just a big cynical advert, but managed to not feel that cynical.
Yeah, it's great. It's very knowing.
Yeah,
sort of.
And every now and again, there's just a joke that just gets me just right. Like, if you've seen the movie, there's a bit where the top of a tower comes off, and it's supposed to be this epic thing, but then they do it with just a single block, and it just kind of just pulls off on a bit of string, and just goes away. But it's this giant spaceship. Is what it actually is. That is a city-sized thing, but it's just done so comedically. Also going through it and going, wait a minute, who's that? Oh, that's BoJack Horseman. Oh, that's Charlie Kelly from Always Sunny. I'm like, okay, it's just lots of actors that I recognise from other places.
Yeah,
but no, I really like, and yeah, Lego Batman was good too. Although the amount of minor Apple product placement in it did slightly drive me up the wall.
Oh, the Apple product placement bugged
you. Everyone...
in the Lego movie.
No, all the other stuff doesn't bother me, even though it has, Daleks and Voldemort and things like that in it as well, but it's that only Batman has an iPhone. Everyone else has a brick phone, because it says it on the back. He's got an iPhone, and they constantly use the Siri opening noise whenever he talks to his computer.
Oh, okay.
Don't try and retroactively change it so that Batman's supercomputer is fucking Siri. Because I asked her 12:45 p.m. plus 1 hour and a half would be, and she said, "I'm sorry, I can't convert that to pounds sterling." So fuck off. Is she a part of Batman's supercomputer?
Yeah. No, Siri is terrible. But that's a whole separate issue.
But yeah, that's it. Just, I don't know, that just took me out of it a little bit. And I know I'm looking at Lego Men, but it just sort of, I don't know. That was the line. That was where the line was crossed. I felt in that movie. It's a small thing. It didn't stop my enjoyment of the movie as a whole, but it's just something to mention. Although I did find it funny that the Daleks aren't mentioned by name despite being in it.
Yeah, there's a few. I think there's a couple of bits like that, right?
I think the reason is. And I may be wrong here, but because I think the actual look of the Daleks, their physical thing is appearance is owned by the BBC, but the name is owned by, I don't know if he's still alive, but it'll be by whoever owns the estate of Terry Nation, who was the creator of them. So I suspect that might be the reason, so that they could use the likeness of them, but they couldn't say their name. Because back in old, I don't know if it's present in New Doctor Who, but in old Doctor Who, the writers owned the rights to things they created, which is why in New Doctor Who you'll occasionally see them recreate certain creatures very similar to old monsters or alien races, but subtly different, so they don't have to then pay the old people. An example would be the Ood are sort of a recreation of the Sensorites from the William Hartnell era.
Oh.
So there.
Well, we've been schooled.
Cool. Yeah, no, I wholeheartedly endorse your product and/or statement.
But anyway, yeah, I like both the movies anyway.
Yeah, they are good. I like, back to the voice actors today, there's quite a few voice actors in it who have acted, and off the top of my head, I can't think. I think, it is guy who plays Voldemort in Harry Potter.
Ray Fiennes.
Yeah, that's the one. I think he's in it, but he's voicing someone else, not Voldemort.
He voices Alfred.
There's a couple of things where it's you've actually got the person who played the person that you're showing in the film, but they're playing a different person.
I don't know, I kind of like Voldemort sounding like a knockoff Bela Lugosi. Yeah, they were fun, but that's me sort of done, so I shall now pass over to the Snipe. What have you been up to, my dear? My sweet. Light of my life.
I just put a spider on the radiator. It's off. He was climbing up the desk, so I just picked him up and I put him on the radiator, which is cold. But now I think he's buggered off and he's hiding in my hoodie. So yeah.
Okay.
I put a spider in my hoodie today. Indirectly.
Good.
Good. That's what you've done for the last 2 weeks.
The last 2 weeks, the only thing you did was something you
I
did.
had to build a rapport with that spider.
Is that what you've been doing for the last 2 weeks?
I had to build trust.
You're earning trust. You're going up to it, like stroking it gently on its flank,
feeding it grass and fucking I don't know.
You're hoping in a
cheese.
few more weeks you'll be able to ride it.
I've made a little saddle and everything. I don't know, he seems to be quite well disposed to me now, seeing as like apparently he likes wearing my jacket, it seems.
I know, I'm seeing as you now as one of those like goblin spider riders from Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay, no, that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
That's fine. He was only a tiny spider, so yeah, my hoodie looks ridiculous on him.
It does not suit him at all.
Does not suit him at all. I mean, with his colouring, he should probably like try maybe a slightly brighter colour. Otherwise, it kind of muddies him up.
So what have you been up to?
I've just fucking told you.
To move on from that with great haste.
All right.
Great haste.
Okay, I've been playing some Tom Land's Ghost Clancy Recon.
Okay, would you like to untangle that sentence into a way that is understandable by a normal human?
No, I want to listen to him that die.
So you've been playing Ghost Recon Wildlands then?
Okay, I'm good.
Tom Land's Ghost Clancy Recon Lands, yeah. That's what I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of Tim Clancy Ghost Boys.
Okay, that's enough.
What? No, I literally can never get this shit right. Hang on, what is it? It's Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Wildlands. It's fucking stupid how many words are in that.
Yeah, it doesn't need that many words.
I've been playing that. I've been playing that predominantly with a mate of mine, and that's been a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fun, but I hate Ubisoft. So because they've got loot boxes in it.
Oh, good.
And they've also put loot boxes in Rainbow Six Siege,
Didn't
which
they...
is like people try not to give them money because they're just going to keep doing this.
Didn't they put the loot boxes in after the big loot box controversy of everyone getting pissed off about it?
Because Ubisoft is so fucking stupid.
Well, they are very aware that they're trying to be awful.
I think they're just like they just want to be like EA so hard.
I don't know.
That's so jealous of EA.
I don't know. Honestly, that the act of putting loot boxes in your game after people have got super pissed off with loot boxes is less of an EA move and more of a Konami move.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Metal Gear Survive. Ha ha. That's got fucking microtransactions and has to be always online. Apparently it fucking sucks because whoa, I'm shocked. But yeah. Anyway, Tim Lands. Let's talk about Tim Clancy.
Okay.
And the Lost Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I got the because it was on sale. I got like the complete edition, which still isn't the complete version because video games nowadays.
What?
I got like a few extra things, and they gave me a free loot crate, and it's like, you can fuck off if you think I'm getting any more, because you can get like things like gold cars, because apparently we're all 10 years old and like things that are shiny. And yeah, it's an open world kind of like game where you play as the ghosts and you go around the Clancy Wildlands and destabilize a bunch of cartels, and there's like the military, like Unidad they're referred to as. They're kind of dicks and they kind of work with the cartels, and you got to go and blow shit up and climb towers and collect fentanyl.
That sounds more like something like Just Cause than a Ghost Recon game.
It is, yeah. It's a lot more kind of. That's exactly it. But yeah, you don't have to blow things up. It's not as crazy as a Just Cause game. But yeah, you have to go to certain places on the map, and you'll get certain story. Like there's fucking huge. The map is crazy large, and every person there's a person controlling each like region, and they're all of varying difficulties. And you go into a region, and you have to find intel, and then you get info on who currently is controlling that region, and then you can go and destabilize them, or just you kill them, or you kidnap them, or you extradite them, like depending on what's going on. So it's actually, there's a lot of variety there. I do like it. It's quite fun, and glitch wise it's actually very reasonable. There's not that many glitches in there. There's one thing that it's not really a glitch, whereas it's just something that really lowers your quality of life, where you can shoulder swap, because it's a third-person game. You can shoulder swap, but sometimes you'll be running along or you'll be taking cover, and it'll just swap to your left side, and it won't change, so it massively disorientates you.
Yeah.
And you have to sit there and fucking swap back and forth. But yeah, no, I find that a lot of fun. Like I usually like... I like the hijacking. You can basically hijack resources or go and steal helicopters. Because, of course, you have stats you can build up. You need skill points, and you can go and unlock weapons, and you can, like, you'll be riding down the road and there'll be somebody who passes that you can just interrogate. So you go and shout at them for a bit, and they're like, okay, here's all the rebel ops in the area. Please don't kill me. And then you hit them in the head and leave them in the middle of the road. So you haven't directly killed them, but someone's going to run them over. And all that. So.
See, you didn't kill them, but you did arrange a situation in which their death was pretty much inevitable.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
It's not murder, but you are going to hell.
It's fine. They're all bad. But yeah, so like, I'm not massively interested in the story, although the story seems fine. It's all kind of like there's a couple of people in one of the first areas that are like these madly in love fucking weirdos that love torturing people. And like you sneak up into like this torture room they're in, and they're like, oh my darling, I have to confess, when I was breaking that man's arm right there, I kind of felt sorry for him. It's like, oh, that's okay, it'll pass. And it's just like they're just fucking really gross people, and it's like, yeah, okay, that's probably fine. And like it does deal with a lot of dark kind of topics, but again, I'm just there to shoot people. So, but no, I've been enjoying that. But I would say, if you are going to play it, please try not to buy any loot boxes, because that's the worst. Also, there's the most important part of the game I missed out. Yeah. The Predator missions.
Ah, yes.
There's a region where there's just an active predator.
What?
Yeah, there's a yacht you're fucking running around the fucking woods. It's amazing! It's not as amazing as I'd like, but it's still pretty good. This guy is made of fucking ceramite. He's impossible. I still haven't beat the fucker. Like, I've done, like, what you do is you follow a downed chopper, and there's a woman there, and she's covered in blood, and she's like, oh, the jungle came alive and took it. And I'm like, yeah, alright, fine. And, like, when you're driving around the region, you can just hear the predator, like, just roaring. And it's like when I was playing with my mate, we nicknamed him Jerry. Jerry the Predator. And, like, we'd be taking down, like, an encampment for intel or something, and we'd hearing him roar. It's like, okay, Jerry, we'll get to you in a minute. He's a fucking needy boy, is Jerry. But yeah, fucking, like, one shot from his, like, shoulder-mounted cannon will down you. And if you're just playing with a mate, like me just playing with one guy, it's like, God, that's tricky, because you've got to keep getting each other up, and he likes popping up the moment you start rezzing a friend and just blowing you away. But no, I'll fuck him up one of these days. Yeah. I do have, like, 2 dot sight. I've got a dot sight on my main assault rifle on my sidearm. It's the Predator 3-dot laser sight.
Nice.
Which is so fun. You can get, like, Predator tattoos, and you can get Dutch's cigar and Blaine's hat.
It's actually, so you're saying, like, Predator, it's
actually a Predator.
Like, licensed and everything.
Yeah.
Well, I just assumed you were saying, oh, it's Predator because it basically is.
No. It literally just is a Predator. And, like, because it's really cool, because, like, you wonder...
But why is it there?
I don't know!
Like, there's no movie.
Cool, but...
Like, there's nothing coming... The only possible thing I can think of was to celebrate, was it the 30th anniversary?
Yeah, because we went and saw the movie.
Yeah, because it got re-released, like, for a couple of days.
Yeah. No, it was one day, I'm
one
sure.
Day, yeah.
It's my spider boy! He's back!
Don't talk about the spider.
What?
No one at home cares about the spider.
Okay, everyone, this is a really cute little spider. He's, like, super tiny. He's having a good day.
Does he have a name?
I'm gonna call him Greg. Hey, Greg.
Everyone loves Greg.
I love Greg. Have a good one, Greg. Yeah, boy. Oh. I scared him. He fucking bolted. I gave him a thumbs up and he just fucking tore ass out of here.
Anyway,
maybe
so
that's offensive in spider culture.
Would you recommend American Foreign Policy?
I would recommend Greg. I like the name American Foreign Policy, the game. You have no idea how accurate that is.
Would you recommend it with microtransactions and all?
I would. I would recommend it. Make sure that you get it cheap, though. Like go and get it off a discount site or something. But no, it is a lot of fun to play with mates. And it's a lot of fun to play on your own. So yeah, I can recommend.
Okay,
it's good. And the Predators is just in there being a fucking shouty boy.
Yeah.
So that's good. Yeah. What else have I been up to? Honestly, not much. I played a bit Hob. So I can't thumbs up a spider, but we can all sit here for 10 minutes saying Hob.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I fucking hate these rules. I don't know where I am.
Well, the simple guide is that us going Hob is something that is entirely...
Us going Hob.
Hob is entirely an audio affair, whereas you thumbs upping a spider necessitates video.
I told people what I was doing.
And this is a podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, you
Anyway.
keep flipping me off all you want, but no one at home can see it.
I'm not. I'm thumbs upping my spider.
With your middle finger at me.
Maybe he's behind
Talk
you.
about fucking Hob.
Okay, I did not fuck a Hob. That's weird. And potentially incredibly dangerous.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, I would not recommend.
You speak...
5 out of 7.
So you would recommend it?
Perfect score.
Been playing a bit of Hob.
Okay.
An exploration game, I believe.
It's like an exploration kind of game. It's very colourful, very fun. I'm very frustrated with a lot of the puzzles, and a lot of it is just kind of guess where you're supposed to go and guess what I'm thinking, which is a massive problem with the game. But the thing is, the art style is so beautiful, it pushes you through that, which is a bit of a problem, because then I just get really mad. But I'm looking at pretty things while I'm mad.
You're just slowly getting mad while playing it. Like, you like it, but it's making you mad.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I'd recommend that. I mean, but the pretty visuals do draw you in, so watch out for its siren call, because it will fuck you.
I think someone that's more familiar with like Metroidvania-style games
might enjoy
Hob a bit more.
Why is it called Hob?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Why is it called Hob?
We don't know.
What's that? No, we're talking about Hob.
I said Hob the first time.
Yeah, it wasn't hobby enough.
Hob.
There you go.
I can't not do it without a bit of French getting in there, though. Hob.
Okay, I think you just got to move on, because this is just not going anywhere. We're just going to get hung up on saying Hob.
I would never get hung up on saying Hob. What the fuck is wrong with us today? Oh my god. I've been watching an anime called Kakegurui.
That's the Netflix one, isn't it?
It's a Netflix one, which I had no idea what it was about. I thought it was some kind of like demonic possession anime. I was wrong. So it's a gambling anime at a high school, because every fucking anime takes place in a high school.
Yeah, like 97% of Japan is high school.
Apparently, yeah.
If you want to believe anime, then that is absolutely true.
So, of course, it starts with this guy talking about how this is a very prestigious academy, and, you know, like, a lot of people go here, and like, a lot of very rich and influential people's children attend this particular academy, and they're all obsessed with gambling. Like, I have not seen one thing, I think, where there's a lesson. I don't think I've seen a single teacher. It's just them gambling all day.
From what I understand from many anime, schools are just literally big clubhouses which just enforce a fierce hierarchy.
Yeah, and like, you don't ever have to study or anything. You just show up and then go and piss about in your club room or whatever.
And all of the student council look about 35.
Because they basically are.
Maybe they've been held back a lot.
Maybe they just like being student council presidents so much that they just
no one's told them to leave.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, and it's like they have like a weird hierarchy in this where if you owe a lot of debt and can't pay it back, you're referred to as a house pet. So the main character's a house pet, and all the boys are called Fido, and all the girls are called Mittens, and they're cats.
Okay.
It's fucking weird.
Okay. Does it get sexy?
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay, right.
So, of course, there's a new transfer student, and she's all sweet and cute and everything, and, like, the guy's kind of worried about her because, oh no, someone's going to challenge her to gambling, and she's going to be like, yes, I'll gamble, that's fun. And so they gamble, and it's basically Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it looks like she's losing, and then she just is like, aha, you're cheating, and then just fucking wipes the floor with this person. And therefore, like, is owed a massive amount of money. And the girl who was like, usually was before quite a top dog in the school and gambling, is now a house pet. So she's kind of like completely emotionally broken because she's like, oh no, fuck. And it just goes about of like this girl going, like basically being a demon. Like she gets like her eyes glow red and she's like, oh my god, gambling's so fun. Ah! And like, it's like, that's fine, you know, so far it's a weird premise, but that's okay. And I started noticing that when the girl was talking about gambling, she was kind of like shifting in her seat and blushing aggressively. And being like, oh, gambling's so good. And I'm like, oh, honey, you are barking up the wrong fucking tree right now. Okay, fine. And like the ending credits, it just cuts to her tits in a school uniform, of course, just jiggling back and forth. And then it zooms out and she's walking. And then it zooms in and it's her panties. And I'm like, look, why the fuck? If you want to make like a pervy anime, just make a pervy anime. I want to watch about the fucking gambling and the girl who collects fucking fingernails. There's one of the people she gambles against. Like she loses terribly and she's got no money and she's like, okay, well, you've got nothing left to bet with. So how about you give me your fingernails and your toenails because I have such a good collection. And no one will sell me them.
Okay.
And she's like, yeah, that's fine.
Good.
This same girl...
I mean, if I could go into a shop and offer them my fingernails instead of money, I'd do it.
Yeah, but not like clippings. You'd have to have the whole thing torn off the nail bed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which does happen later on.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fucking grim.
Okay, yeah, now I take it back.
Yeah, not cuttings,
Yeah.
just having it torn off.
Oh.
But yeah, like, it's
like you get change, like...
you just bite a bit off.
So that's so that'll be 1.3 fingernails. So you pull off one of your fingernails, and then you get like your clippers out and clip the end off one of them. You go, I'm glad I grew this one out of it.
God dang it.
Does it work like Bitcoin? Like one fingernail is actually worth like 10 grand. So that if you actually just want to buy some bread, you have to get like sort of tiny fraction of a fingernail.
You have to pull like bits of fibers out of nail files.
To be fair, I think that fingernails would probably be a more stable form of currency.
Well, yeah. Also, you know, people would probably die because they'd be like, "Oh, I need to eat, but also, I don't want to pull out my fucking fingernails." But yeah, no, I think it would be it's. I will say that those parts really do fucking take me out of it. Anime is pretty bad for it at the best of times. Of just kind of going, hey, let's look at this 14-year-old's butthole for a while. And it's like, okay, maybe this is about like Karuta. Well, actually, no. The anime I've watched about Karuta is actually pretty good. It's not like let's linger on the nipples of 12-year-old girls. So it's pretty good for that. But like, it's not like, oh yeah, this is like. It's about Godzilla or whatever. Let's look at someone's fucking, like, vulva. It's like, you know, it's just, I think I'm just old to the point where this isn't titillating, it's just fucking pathetic.
I did see...
It really is just fucking eye-roll worthy.
I did see, like, the intro and outro of it, she showed me that.
The intro, I hate the song for the intro.
I don't mind it at all.
I hate it so fucking much.
But how gratuitously...
It's fan-servicey.
It's the really fan-servicey. Which is even by the standards of anime.
Yeah, it's just kind of out there. I mean, I'm kind of continually watching it just because I'm curious as to how much they'll fucking be weird about it next time, and just morbid curiosity, and I hate myself.
Do they always use the same form of gambling, or is it like a different game each time?
No, they use different ones. So the first type of gambling they use is like a like scissors, paper, rock, like Jankum, or whatever it is. But the students, like all of the other students present, they draw like a paper hand or like a fist or scissors on a piece of card, and then you get 3 cards, and then you have to guess what your opponent's going to put down. And it's luck of the draw which card you pick up, and then there's like another one which is kind of like roulette. There's Indian poker. So there is a lot of like different kind of games being played. So and they do kind of go through it and explain them all. So it's like, okay, well, that's interesting.
Not only are you having this fan service aggressively pushed at you, they're also they're indoctrinating you into gambling.
Oh, you couldn't make me gamble. Gambling's stupid. It's dumb, and I hate it, and it's the worst. But yeah, like, so she's basically trying to take down the student council just because she likes gambling. And it's I'm kind of watching it just because I've got such a morbid curiosity of where it's going. Because the conclusion is probably like, and all of the hot chicks have a big old fuck pile. That's probably what it's going to end up as. It's like nothing to do with gambling. It's fucking... Who cares? Let's just get the protagonist naked. Well, the protagonist is kind of just like this guy who's a bit useless.
Really? He's the protagonist?
Even though, like, Yumeko, the exchange student gambler, she's basically the main character, but it starts off with him, so it's a bit confusing.
Okay.
And it does kind of follow him around. So I think he's just there so, you can look through his eyes and go, look at all these hot women's. Ooh, I saw underwear. And it's like, fine.
Well done.
Good on you.
So you said you're watching this on Netflix. Is it a Netflix show?
It's a Netflix original, yeah.
Oh, okay. So is it made? It's not made in Japan.
It's all in Japanese. I think it might have been.
Oh, okay.
Because I think Netflix originals either they make it themselves, or they're the only ones who own the license in the West.
Yeah.
Well,
then they can say it's a Netflix original.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, but it's not. Though.
Well, they're the only ones that own the license in the territory, which is why, like Star Trek, Discovery. Is like a Netflix thing, but it's actually made by CBS. That's the only way to access it in America.
Yeah, no, licensing laws are fucking stupid. But yeah, that's what I think. That's what I suspect is happening.
Okay,
so.
right, okay.
Speaking of like Netflix anime, I did actually. I forgot to mention. I did watch the Godzilla anime.
Oh yeah, what do you reckon of that?
Oh yeah.
How was that then? A lot of panty shots, I hope.
Oh, you got some good ones of Godzilla.
Ooh, I will not rest until I see Godzilla's giant, burgeoning, radioactive anus.
Yeah, raised his tail up, you got a good view of it.
Oh.
Right up it.
Oh, that's a good cloaca, that is. Oof.
He's wearing stripy panties and everything.
Dirty boy.
What I can say is that, because it's set very far in the future, after humanity's left Earth,
oh, okay.
and then come back because it turns out... Because basically Godzilla shows up and... Well, all the monsters show up and Godzilla is the worst of them and aliens also show up and are like, can we hang out with you? We'll deal with your monster problem. But then they couldn't. Oh. So everyone just leaves Earth.
If anything, if the Godzilla canon has taught me anything, it's that aliens are always dicks.
There's a couple of examples of non-dickish aliens.
The majority are dicks.
Most of them are dicks. And so everyone leaves Earth, and for the people on the ship, I think it's only something like 15 years have passed, 20 years maybe. But on Earth, it's like 20,000 years. For some reason, I don't particularly understand. And some reason that's not even particularly useful from a narrative standpoint. Although, admittedly, they could explain it thoroughly, but the first half of that movie is so unimaginably boring. It's so dull, so fucking dull. The latter half of it, when they get to Earth and they start fighting the things that are left on Earth, which involve, Godzilla.
Well,
that's...
I'd be shocked if it didn't.
That's a lot more interesting, and because it actually has action and stuff, but... I don't want to spoil anything, but it does end with a kind of interesting kind of thing, and I will be intrigued to see where they go, because what they're doing with this is it's a series of feature-length episodes, I guess. So it's like a bunch of mini-movies. Yeah. Sort of like how the first season of Lex was. I'm sure there's other series that have done that, but I am such an awful person in regards to my culture that when I think of things, I will use examples like Lex.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I guess if you're interested in Godzilla, I'd watch it. If you're not interested in Godzilla, I very much doubt this is going to change that. But yeah, is there anything else that you have done, Snipe?
Well, I've been playing some D&D.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. It's been pretty good. So we've had 3 sessions since our last podcast. Wait, have we?
No, we haven't. But we just didn't talk about some of the other sessions because we had so much to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. So we're going to talk about the rest of them now.
You'll have to remind me which sessions we've had. So we spoke about up to the end of up to you doing your ritual.
Yep, then that's where we left it.
Okay.
And then we have our little Christmas adventure.
We had a little snowy winter adventure, which was fucking horrific in the best kind of way. So, it's a few days after we get back from Nathan's little ritual. For those who don't know, I play Nathaniel Gallagher. the warlock who hates himself and hates being a warlock.
Does he though?
Does he though? He's also a bit of a lush and has great hair.
I play Johnny, the dwarven barbarian, who also is kind of a bard on the side, but from a roleplay sense, not from an actual mechanical sense.
Yet, I mean...
Maybe I'll take a few points.
Maybe you're multi-class, who knows?
Maybe I'll barbarian him at some point. And then we also have our two other friends playing, Ash and Sarah, who play, respectively, Talus, the elven rogue, and...
Who has an accordion.
Yes, and Sora, the dragonborn wizard.
Mm-hmm. And we have Drummer Matt, the voice in the sky, who tells us, you really want to fucking do that?
Otherwise
Seriously?
known as a DM.
As a DM, yes.
So, after your ritual that we talked
my
about
ritual?
in the last episode, we got back to the town that we call home.
Wyport. We go back to the inn, and Nathan tries to drink himself to death because he's sad.
Well, yes, but the more important thing was...
No, we're talking about Nathan now.
No, we're not.
Fuck you! That was so fucking dismissive! We're not playing now! You don't have to fucking shout me and chafe me this hard. Fuck, dude!
I know, but the important thing for the whole narrative was that it was snowing when we got back, and it was supposed to be spring.
Yes, I was getting to that. I am the only one who fucking takes notes. Fucking, you are reading my notes.
I'm not, actually.
Yeah, you probably can't read them. Because you're dumb and can't read.
I can, in fact, read.
Okay, get out of character.
Oh my god, it's just so easy! So, we're all hanging out in the inn, and we're like, it's kind of weird how... Well, I don't think Nathan knows it's actually been snowing.
Well, he hasn't been outside the inn.
In days.
Yeah.
So... They all, everyone's out, doing their bits and bobs. Talus has gone out and she's just been staring at boats for a few days, and she's gone and bought herself a captain's hat, because Talus is just weird like that. And because Sora, our Dragonborn wizard, is a massive nerd, she's just decided to stay inside and read books. So, everyone comes in and is like, have you noticed it's snowing? That's kind of fucking weird. And we get a visit from a local member of the law enforcement that we're quite friendly with, Sergeant Symes. And he comes in and goes, guys, you fucking notice it's snowing? And we're like, well, yeah, I guess. Yeah. So he's talking about how the mayor would like to see us and how news of our exploits, have kind of reached her because we're amazingly badass and fantastic in every single way. Or we're just incredibly noisy and won't shut up about our amazing deeds. Yeah. One or the other.
And possibly.
So I actually got this, he wants us to speak to the mayor. Johnny dumps water on me.
Oh, yeah, because you were so... Nathan had drunk so much over the course of trying to get over the fact that he's got a fucking eldritch horror inside of him. That
he's full of evil fart cloud.
Yeah, that he'd spent the entire time just drinking, so to try and sober him up, I went and got a bunch of water and just poured it all over him.
To be fair, he could have used the decanter of endless water, but I guess you were feeling a bit lo-fi that day.
I didn't think that using a magical item...
Oh, you didn't think that time using a magical item to just fucking try and drown me?
I thought it was more... It was less of an effective thing, it was more of a symbolic thing.
What, that you're not using the decanter?
No, that I was to pour water on you to sober you up.
Okay, that's fine. So yeah. So we go and see the mayor. And she's a nice lady. Gwen Winterblaze.
It should be noted that at this point, Sora had been done various checks against her knowledge to see if she knew what could possibly be causing it to snow, and it possibly being a white dragon was something that
was on the
occurred to
table.
her.
On the walk up, we were talking about what we thought it might be, and Sora was like, no, this really does feel like maybe a white dragon, like a young one's kind of venturing out and having a bit of a piss about. And we start talking about, is it possible for dragons to be people? Just talk about little things like that, and is it possible for dragons to disguise themselves as people, and what else do dragons do? And she's like, well, white dragons aren't, they're still intelligent creatures, but they tend to be kind of more animalistic. And we rock up and meet the mayor, and she introduces herself as Gwen Winterblaze, and we're all like, she's a dragon. She's a fucking dragon killer. Fucking, oh my god, it's her. And Dromat's like, oh fuck, now that I've said it out loud.
It was just a complete coincidence, wasn't it?
Yeah, she was named when I created most of the town, which was dramatically before I created this adventure. And you just happened to meet her for the first time.
During, like, the unnatural snowstorm that has blown in.
So yeah, she's heard all the jokes before.
Yeah, no.
She had the last few days of being like, no, it's not my fault. It's just a name.
It's just a name.
Stop that immediately.
But she basically gives us the lowdown and is like, oh yes, I've heard you are people of some renown. Help.
Basically, the cliff notes. Yeah.
There's some people. We've sent some people up to where this seems to be originating from,
like
just
across a short kind of river,
and towards the north of where the town is. Like, can you go up that way and see what's going on? Because we've already sent some people up there and they never came back. So we agree to help.
Yeah.
We get some nice, fine winter coats.
Yes, we do.
Some wondrous winter wares.
Will Wheaton's wondrous winter wear.
And
making roll ones.
Making me roll quans, you say?
Quans.
I apologise everyone at home, that's a weird in-joke that we have.
Yeah. So we head on over to the docks and see if we can get, like, a boat to take us over. Because, like, the water's starting to ice up and we want to kind of leave as soon as we can. And we come across a very fine young lady called Nera, I think her name is. Let me have a look.
Yes, it's Nera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I in my notes it's just Nera equals love heart. So yeah, I will explain why. So we meet up and she's desperately trying to tar her boat. And we're all like, hi, you want to maybe take us across the river? And she's this sweet, lovely lady with, like, fiery red hair, a side cut, and she's got, like, muscles, and, like, everyone in the party is immediately in love with her.
I think the way she was initially described was like it had been tailor-made to appeal to the widest array of people's individual fetishes.
In the party, definitely.
It was impressively tailored.
Yeah, like to the point where, like, seriously, do you have psych profiles on all of us, Drummer Matt? Because I think you might. He's not denying it.
It's okay. She's not the big bad boss.
She fucking better not me, otherwise I'll fucking run myself through on my own sword. I ain't fucking hurting her. I would die for that beautiful woman.
But she needs because all the boats are leaving town because of the river icing up,
and she's frantically trying to tar a boat so she can get there before it freezes solid. And
so we agreed to help her tar her boat, which is not a euphemism.
Yeah, after Talus is just, like, tripping over herself, flirting with her, and, like, because Talus and I have started doing this thing because we can both, like, use telepathy to a greater or lesser extent. So I'm just kind of we invented telepathic emojis. By just sending like wink. So we're doing shit like that, which honestly I'm surprised, Drummer Matt, you haven't killed one of us for. Yet.
Well, we'll get to that.
Well, oh shit, is that why? Okay, I've learned my lesson, please don't hurt me.
So we help her tar her boat so she'll take us across the river before she leaves, which she's doing
like the next morning.
Yeah, she's doing the next morning, so after we've helped tar a boat, again, not a euphemism.
Not a euphemism.
We go back to the inn and sleep on it, and then we leave the next day.
And the whole time, Johnny's not letting Nathan drink anything.
Yeah.
Because you're my dad now, apparently.
Dwarf dad.
Dwarf dad, he's really annoying.
And so Nera helps us cross the river, all the while Talus is awkwardly flirting with her.
Awkward is the right word. Hey, so you like stuff? I like stuff.
We were trying to be good wingmen, so I think
Johnny's the best wingman. It's like she killed a kobold.
She's good. She likes knives.
Talus likes knives. Like Nera's like, okay, all right.
But anyway, we get to the other side of the river. We walk for some distance as the blizzard gets kind of harsher and harsher.
We wade for like it's like 3 miles in like just over the like knee deep snow.
Yeah.
Which is like chin depth for Johnny because he's about a foot tall. And after like 3 miles, there's like a big what is it?
It's like
a big clearing almost, but where there's like no snow. Well, there is snow, but it's not falling.
It's the eye of the storm, effectively.
Yeah, and there's this huge fucking, like, ice spire in the middle, and we're like, yeah, that's probably where we need to go. Maybe.
Either that or that's where fucking Elsa lives.
Yeah, so either way, something's got to die, right?
People might have realised at this point, Christmas adventure, yo.
Yeah.
Just because we didn't have time to play anything over Christmas doesn't mean it's not happening.
Exactly. So we head on over, and as we approach, we notice there's a few goblins outside, and we're like, oh shit, okay, time to take down some gobbos. So we hide behind these big rocks and like chunks of ice. So we hide behind that. So Johnny and Talus, they're our melee fighters. So they sneak up and get spotted pretty much immediately, which isn't that much of a problem because we nuke these poor fucking things.
Well,
more specifically, Sora nukes these fucking things.
Well, the thing is, we'd leveled up in the previous session, so our characters had all improved in their ability to damage quite a lot. Like, for example, I'd gained the ability that I do 2 attacks per round now.
Yeah.
So my damage had just doubled, as well as having more health and things like that. So, yeah, that means that if I pop my
your rage boner,
my frenzy, then I get 3 attacks per round, which is quite helpful.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And yeah, Sora had
Meteor Strike or whatever it is, Meteor, I think it's just called.
Yeah, it's a spell. It's not in the actual player's handbook. It's in one of the extra. I can't remember which book it's in.
It's in a supplemental, whatever it is. Yeah,
it's in one of the extra books. One of the properly made books. So it's a legit thing. Because she said about it, and I was like, oh, I haven't heard of that. And I looked through, I was like, that's not in the book. What does that? Where's that? Where have you got that spell from?
She's like, oh, books. But no, she basically just nukes a couple of them from fucking orbit, and we kill them all.
that spell is basically like in Dark Souls, the spells that create little balls that spin around you and you can fire them out at people.
Yeah, that's what that is.
It's basically that, but with small fireballs.
Yeah. And we just shred through them and just
Zenyatta with a Dragon Ball.
Basically, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned
Dragon
Overwatch.
Ball? Dragonborn. I think I said Dragon Ball skin, which is a whole separate thing.
Oh god.
But yeah, we actually do that in that initial encounter.
I don't think any of us take any damage.
We don't take a single point of damage fighting the goblins. They're only goblins, of course, but still, to not even take one hit.
We were quite proud. Quite pleased with that. And
especially considering that we stumbled into it through kind of a botched stealth roll.
And that was where we ended the session, according to my notes. And the very start of the next session, which was Talus saying the entire economy of Yport, the city that this takes place in, hinges on Nathan's dick.
There was context to that statement, but I feel it's better not to include it.
I can't remember what the context was, and I don't care, honestly.
So, as we're looking around the goblins that have been killed by us...
By us, because we're amazing.
One of us, I think it was Nathan, goes up and starts to interrogate one because there is one that's still alive. Mm-hmm. And we find out that there is a dragon.
Yeah, he starts cursing me out in gobbo language, and I'm just like, I fucking care. I'm just going to keep shaking you until you tell me something.
And they have been looking after the dragon. Actually, weirdly enough, I did mean to mention this. It was explicitly mentioned that the goblins were in some sort of interesting attire, slightly colourful attire. So I was wondering, when that was first mentioned, if the dragon was basically going to be Santa and the gobbos were the elves.
Oh, they should have been. Oh, they really should have been.
We killed Dragon Santa.
That was what I was wondering if you were going for when you said they were wearing colourful things.
Oh shit! Yeah,
I don't think it was. I don't think it was colourful. It should have been, but it was just they were wearing robes rather than the usual goblin get-up. Yeah. was the difference.
It was described as being more ostentatious than you would normally expect. So, I had this feeling, and I was wondering if that was what you were doing.
That would have been amazing. No, I wish I did. Sorry.
We also
I apologise to the universe for not doing that.
You should do. You should do.
And then we go into the tower after that goblin dies. After just confirming that it is a dragon, and we find the remnants of the
scout party.
The scout party that are just
they're frozen in stalagmites.
They're basically like May's healing ability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're dead.
But they're dead.
And there's one lying on the floor. I think we go over him and I think we all roll ones when we search him. So we're like, well, there's probably a body here.
But then we start hearing footsteps coming down, some of which are quite heavy, because there's like this tower is like got a spiral staircase running around the inside of it, but it's
very
like,
pretty tower.
But it's like blocked off, so you can't really see from one side to the other. But we can hear people coming down this staircase. So we all do something that is very rare for us. We engage in actual, legit, honest strategy.
This is very, again, not a common thing.
We all hide behind pillars, because it's like these huge like ice pillars, like all the stalagmites.
Tights hang down.
Yeah. I just had a second there where I couldn't remember, but yeah, it's stalagmites. We all got behind some huge icy stalagmite things. And from around the corner, there appears some goblins and a couple of yetis. Now, what we proceed to do throughout the combat is we would pop out from behind a pillar, hurl something at the enemies, and then dive back behind the pillar, which was obviously very, for the spellcasters.
You started blowing fucking kisses at them. And smacking your ass.
Well, yeah, I did because I wanted to. Because
don't justify that shit.
No. That you need to know the order of this thing happening for it to make sense.
Oh my god, Greg!
There's the spider got back on the table.
He's back on the table. Greg, fuck off, will you? We're recording. Go away.
This podcast is dedicated to Greg.
Yeah, Greg. Please stay off the fucking table. I put him back on the wall. He should be okay.
So, I think the first goblin who comes out just gets annihilated by the various things thrown at him, but the first yeti is getting close to where Talus's stalagmite is. So, in order to attract the yeti away, I hurl a javelin at the yeti, and after
you critically miss.
No,
and then you do, and then you roll again, and you hit him really, really well.
Oh yeah, because I can have 2 attacks. So.
I wrote it down explicitly that you critically missed.
Oh, good.
It makes me laugh.
I'm glad you did.
I like remembering your failure.
Oh, good.
I'm 2 in character right now.
But as I hit it to try and get its attention, as it looks over to me, I blow it a kiss and then dive back behind the pillar. So it comes chasing after me, and then as soon as it kind of gets close enough, then I'm able to, because it's being pelted with spells and magical
meteors,
arrows and all sorts of things. By the time it gets to me, I can just then wail on it and just kill it in one round of combat.
You hit pretty well because it came running up to you, and you clipped it in the knee because it's quite tall, which made it slump forward, and then you basically golf swing, and just fucking shear the top of its fucking skull off, and it whips. I think it whips past Talus actually, and we're like, well, that's one yeti down.
And a very similar thing happens with the second one and the remaining goblins. And again, we managed to, through actual use of honest-to-God strategy...
For a change.
...do another combat where none of us got damaged, even 1 point.
That was lucky.
So, helped by extraordinarily good dice rolls by all of you, and the opposite from me.
Yeah. I mean, that I'm not saying that didn't help, but I don't think we would have taken much damage just from the way we'd set that up.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Now, that was...
I was very surprised.
Not half as surprised as we fucking were.
Now, that was the end of things going well. So, as we've sort of, checked out the area, made sure nothing else was going to attack us, we start to ascend the tower, or more accurately, we send Talus first.
She's our scout, so she goes forward. And has a creep up the stairs about 15 feet in front of us. She fails her stealth check pretty fucking catastrophically, alerting the entire spire to our presence.
And so suddenly the dragon's booming voice is basically like, yeah, I know you're there, come on up, you fuckers.
That's pretty much what he said, yeah.
I'm paraphrasing, but... Mm-hmm. So we all go up and into the area above and see a bunch of goblins all around this central dais that's got... the dragon on it.
It's got a fucking white dragon on it.
It's like a young white dragon, but not super young, so it's not like,
it's not a...
Is it a whelpling or something like that, the smallest one?
Wormling, yeah. So it's like, it's just probably graduated from wormling, but... and we're kind of like... I'm horrified. I'm like, I don't want to fight a fucking dragon. Not one that's that big and bitey and horrible. So I'm trying to be very charismatic. I'm like, well, Nice tower you got here. Oh, please don't fucking kill us. And he's all like, he's being all bluff and, oh yes, well, I am so mighty. And he's just giving us this big spiel about how fucking terrifying and how badass he is. Talus cuts him off and goes, please, you're about 10. And he immediately goes, fuck it, and just fucking starts fighting and just... Oh my god!
Like, combat begins
immediately.
Before any of us are in any kind of combat position.
Okay, so all dragons have breath weapons. We're all huddled up in about 20 feet. We are fucked! Talus is like, fuck you, you toddler bastard! And we're like, oh no! So yeah, it just fucking immediately is like, right, you shits.
So...
And it smacks down really hard. It's like fucking, it's just so mad with this injustice. It like smacks the fucking floor, letting loose a bunch of like icicles, like stalactites, and they fall. I get hit by one and it takes me down to 17 fucking HP. And I'm like, it's not a very good start to a match.
On the plus side, it also kills nearly every goblin that was in the room as
So
well.
yeah, there was 5 goblins there. It kills all but 1. And the dragon is fine, of course, because it's a fucking dragon.
Yeah.
So we're all like, oh, we're dead. And like immediately Talus is like, oh, this is fine. We can deal with this. So... Like, because I've got a -1 to my dex, so I'm basically going second to last. So I don't have a chance to defend myself before the dragon just uses its breath weapon and hits me for 32 fucking damage.
Which is more health than you have in total.
More health than I have in total. And I'm just immediately unconscious. Talus, her dick immediately shrivels. She's like, oh no, I fucked up. And I'm like, you think? Oh my god, I'm in pain!
Like, I could tell, like, because I was the one who was, like, immediately up front, so I took the breath weapon as well, but I think I'd had my turn, so I at least was able to activate my frenzy, so I would at least mitigate some damage.
Yeah, no, you managed to hold off, and Sora's hiding in, like, the stairwell. She's not moving. So... Talus bolts out. She's like, oh my god, okay, what can I do? Nathan's, oh my god, he's down. And I was like, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Why don't you sass the dragon again? Of course. So she bolts over in a panic and basically tries to force feed me a health potion. Just like putting it in my mouth and smacking it on the back like she's trying to get ketchup out. Yeah, she's like, fucking live, damn it, live! Which it would have been hilarious if she'd failed her roll and she drowned me. But yeah, and then you get smacked by the fucking dragon. And it only hits you for like 9 damage, but that's like, because you're currently like, you're receiving half damage.
Yeah.
This thing is so fucking tough.
I did at least manage to get it to sit on the ground.
You did. You turn around, because we figured out it was a very prideful young dragon, so Johnny turns around and he's like, get down here, you fucking coward. And it's like, oh, right then, I'm going to, you little shit.
I think I rolled quite well on the intimidation roll to be able to get that to happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So this whole ketchup, like, that Talus is forcing me to eat, actually does work. And I regain 8 HP. So I get back up and I'm like, fucking what? Sora's keeps doing, like, flames and whatnot. And we're all just desperately trying to kill this thing because from basically the word go, we realise we cannot fuck about with this thing. Which is a bit of a problem. Because we opened up by fucking about with the damn thing.
Yep.
So, Johnny gets belted by one of the goblins. And then he gets smacked by the dragon again. You get knocked down to 10 HP.
Yeah, which
is crazy.
Considering that to do that from physical attacks requires... The original damage would have been over 100. Because I've got like 58 health or something like that. Yeah. I can't remember exactly.
I go over and I cast something at the dragon. And it turns around, looks at me like it's so fucking mad, and it roars at me. So I'm mad too, so I roar back. I don't intimidate it. I think it maybe was just like... It was like, and I'm like, yeah, I'm a dragon, wanker, kind of thing. So he just gets madder. I have a necklace of fireballs, and when I'm in a panic or when I'm really mad, I tend to use those.
You've only got a few charges on that left, haven't
I've got like 3 charges left. And I decided to use one here because this is not fucking around. So, what is it? Doesn't it cast like level...
It casts a fireball.
It casts a fireball spell.
Which is a level 3 spell.
It's a level 3 spell, so it's pretty brutal. I throw it, and I usually have to throw them over my target.
Because they have quite a big AoE.
Because they have quite a big AoE. So I do that, and the dragon kind of watches it go, and he kind of turns around, because this is what they do, because they always think I miss. He turns around, he gives me this "dude, you fucking missed" kind of look, and then it fucking explodes and vaporizes the last remaining goblin. It does catch him by surprise, and I do a good amount of damage to him. He doesn't like that. So he turns around and he casts his breath weapon again.
Yeah, which he just got back. He incapacitates myself, Johnny, and Sora.
Because it was one of those points where I wasn't paying attention to what you guys were doing so much, because I was just up front, just taking the damage.
You were tanking like a champ.
And doing as much damage as I could, which, I'm getting 3 attacks per round, so I do put out a fair amount.
Yeah. And we're doing our best to hurt it.
But I didn't notice, because it was one of those things where, like, as soon as you started saying breath weapon, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't realise we were so kind of clustered
we
together.
were clustered
the 3
up.
of you were...
Yeah. So we all get incapacitated immediately, except for Talos, who's just stood there with 3 missing HP. Literally, she's missing 3 HP, and that's all. And we're all lying there being like, this is fine. And she's like, oh shit. But luckily, at this point, the dragon's looking pretty worse for wear, and we're like, it can't have much left in it. Oh my fucking god, please tell me it doesn't have much left in it.
So don't want to fucking TPK on this.
No, because it was seriously so fucking close to us, because Talos doesn't have, she doesn't have the best armor class, and she doesn't have the highest HP, so if it had fucking hit her, she would have been killed. We all would have just been fucking wiped out. So she's like, oh fuck, okay, what the fuck do I... Oh my god, what do I do? So what she does is leaps around the back of the dragon and scrambles up its kind of like makeshift, like raised chunk of ice that's been made as a throne behind it.
She can't get up it.
No, I'm saying she goes for it and she slips. She doesn't pass her athletics check and she slips down. She doesn't botch though, so that's okay. I think what was it? It was still her turn.
I think she could still use her she could still do 1 attack, and that was all she could manage.
So we are all sitting there with our head in our hands, holding our fucking breath. Like, if she misses this...
Me too.
Yeah. Drama's there, because he doesn't want to see us dead. DMs don't want to see their players die, sometimes. And we're like, okay, you get one attack. And if you miss or don't do enough damage, we are all dead. So Ash is just fucking... we're all clenching pretty hard. Rolls. Hits. We're like, okay, doesn't crit. We're like, oh shit, okay. Rolls damage. Gets...
no sneak attack, because there's no advantage.
No sneak attack, no advantage. She gets 9 damage. The dragon had 8 HP. And we fucking... Literally, 1 point. And we fucking... Oh my god! That was the most tense I have ever fucking been playing D&D. We were holding our breath. We were like when we heard the dice hit the table, we were all just like, oh god, please! And we just fucking made it because of Talos's... I mean, albeit she did fucking get us into this situation.
Well, I mean, you were probably going to fight it anyway.
No, we absolutely were, but it would have been nice to have decent positions set up first. But
yeah.
So yeah, she managed, and then she runs over to me because I turn around out of character. Go, if you get me up, I can get someone else up because I have spare the dying. So it's like, yeah, just get me up and then we can both get another party member up. So she runs over to me, gives me another... well, that's it. She takes a health potion off Johnny and rushes over to me and feeds me this health potion. And then I think she takes Sora's and gives it to you. And I revive... I stabilize Sora, but she doesn't get up. So I carry her out of there. Well, that's the plan. And we're like, okay, this is fine. While we're reviving people, we notice that little chunks of ice are falling from the top of the spire. And we're like...
But there's also a bunch of treasure.
But there's a bunch of treasure. There's like a bunch of frozen coins. And there's like... And we're like, ooh, we do like treasure. That's pretty good.
So whilst you're looking after Sora...
I ask someone to take care of Sora, so I go and I pull up the dragon's mouth and I put my foot on the bottom of its jaw and I hack out 7 teeth. Because I'm like, fuck this thing. These are my teeth. And you hack off its head.
Yeah, I take the whole head and put it in our bag of holding.
Put it in the hole.
The hole.
Yeah. And then we start like, because I'm with Sora and you and Talus start digging out the treasure.
I seem to remember I rolled crazy well on my ability to dig.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense as being a mountain dwarf and all that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess if you want to be like racist and stereotypical, that's fine.
So we get a handful of treasure, but then
it's really starting to come down.
The whole
now.
tower is starting to fall apart. So we start running down the spiral staircase, which is falling apart like as we're running down.
It's like crumbling and like the fucking walls are just cracking and splintering and chunks of ice are just falling down.
It's full on Indiana Jones.
Yeah, so we're tearing ass down there, and because it's a big spiral, we can see the entrance as we're running down on the opposite side, but we still have to go all the way around. So we get like just above the entrance, but it's kind of too far to jump, and a big chunk of ice knocks the stairs out, and we just fall. None of it, like, I don't think any, like, no, we all pass our athletics check on the fall, which is good because the amount of damage that would have done to us would have probably killed us.
Yeah,
because,
probably.
Yeah, we were all
Sora's got 0 HP.
Yeah.
She's, like, over my shoulder.
And both you and I were on less than 10.
Well, I think I was on about 5, you were on about 6 or 7?
Yeah, something like that.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and you were probably about 50 foot up.
Yeah.
So maybe 40, 50 foot, D6 damage per 10 foot drop, I think. So, like, 5d6, probably.
Yeah. It would have fucking just killed half of us.
But you managed to, like, properly, like, Legolas style surf a bit of ice down.
Yeah. And then we get out. And we keep going because we're like, we don't know which way that's going to fall. We don't know. Yeah, so we just run, and we run, like, to the edge of it. And then we turn around and we watch it just disintegrate. And this is one of my proudest moments as a player, because I've been kind of, like, wanting an inspiration point for a long time. I really have. And I turn around and I go, ice work, everybody. With all my broken ribs and fucking... and I'm bleeding. I'm just like, ice work, everyone. And Drama Matt's like, inspiration point. And I'm like, worth it! Let me kill another dragon! So, yeah, we're just like... We hobble back, because we hope that Nira hasn't left yet. And we hobble back to the side of the river, and we're kind of like trying to wave her down. And she eventually notices us, and she comes on over. And she's like, what happened to you? And what was it, Johnny's like, Talus killed the dragon. And she's like, okay.
I think this is the first time that I also encounter a very interesting thing that you can do. Which is that, to prove this, I just went and got the dragon's head out of the hole.
Yeah.
And was like, hey, look, we killed this dragon. Which, showing people a decapitated dragon's head seems to make people... stop and pause in what they're doing.
It opens doors for you.
It does open doors because... Okay, so... Not to get too far ahead, we obviously Nira takes us...
We go back and Nira's like, she agrees to a date with Talus.
Which, to be honest, if someone's just killed a dragon, like...
You kind of... you gotta give them at least a try, right?
Yeah, you're like, you know what, even if they're not my type, I might as well give it a shot. They've killed the dragon.
Yeah.
And... I think it's myself...
I take Sora back to the Knave Scroll, which is the inn we stay at.
Yeah, and...
Just to keep an eye on her.
Myself and Talus go to the mayor's, like...
Lady Winterblaze's estate.
Her like,
who's
house
not the dragon.
To basically say, oh, we've done it. So the guards outside, they don't know that we've been sent off, and so they're like, so what you done? We're like, we killed the dragon. And they're like, wait, what? So again, I pull the dragon's head out, and they're just like, oh, shit!
No. I remember what that guard said specifically, and it fucking killed me. He went, ooh, heck! It was the funniest fucking reaction to seeing a severed dragon. Ooh, heck! I was like, well, shit, yeah, fine. I mean, that is an expression of surprise.
So I'm like, so can we see the mayor now? And they're like, oh, yeah. So
of course.
I'm just walking through this, like,
mayoral... The amount of horns swinging around showing anyone who'll fucking look. Like, some maid walks past, like, kill the dragon. She's like, okay, fine. Do you want a tea or not?
So, of course, we tell the mayor what we've done, and we get a stupid amount of money.
It's like $1,000.
Like, we've all got so much fucking money now.
Especially because all the coins we got as well from the Dragon's Lair.
And we look through the items that we got, and we got a couple of magic rings.
I've got one of them, which is, like, basically, it means I can re-roll failed agility checks, which is great because I have -1 to dex.
Yeah. And I there's a ring that, like, makes a ram appear and headbutt people.
Yeah, that's a kind of weird one, but
and
hey, I ain't king.
I like doing the treasure. Sometimes you'll get specific treasure, but quite often if it's just like a treasure hoard, I like just rolling it on the treasure tables on the fly, because then I don't know what you're going to get either, which is quite nice. Because I don't know what treasure a dragon's meant to find.
Yeah. And I was so happy that one of the things that rolled was a axe of the berserker.
Mm-hmm. So I took that naturally.
So something that is just a straight upgrade to the axe I was using, and gives you more health, and I think it improves.
Does it give you an extra attack? Or...
no, it doesn't give me an extra attack, but it gives me like a better attack rolls.
That's it.
I think I get to like a +1 to my rolls, isn't it?
I feel like plus like 1 per level or something.
That gives me +1 health per level.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
So now we have after quite a relatively long amount of time, even if in terms of sessions not that many in the grand scheme of things, we've played in many dungeons, and now we've finally fought a dragon.
It fucking nearly killed us, but we did it.
Nearly fucking died, but still, we did it, and now we can officially claim to be,
Dragon Slayers.
Dragon Slayers.
I mean, to be fair, it was a baby dragon, and we all nearly fucking died horribly, but the public doesn't have to know that.
Yeah. At some point, I will have to do something with that head, and actually maybe just keep the head of the dragon.
Okay. Well, I was thinking, like, what you should take it to, like, an armor maker or, like, a taxidermist and go, I want this made into a pauldron. Or a cod piece to really intimidate everyone.
I want this as a hat.
I want this as a hat. Yeah, have it as a hat. Or you could turn, like, I don't know, make a lute out of its head.
That's pretty rad, actually.
Yeah, there you go. That one's for free. So yeah, that was our tale of high adventure and dragon murder, and how we all nearly died horribly. Even though this podcast is already quite long, we have apparently found out that no one gives a shit when they're long. Yeah, I appreciate the podcast is already pretty long, but we do have a lot of questions that we need to answer, because the last one was super long, so they've got a bit of a rollover. So I guess just, Matt, just ask us all the questions. Go on.
All the questions, and if it's too long, you can edit them out, and no one will know.
No one will know.
Apart from the people who ask the questions, I guess. And
then they'll feel terrible inside. But it's your fault, man.
And now I feel really bad. Yeah. Okay. First question.
Cool. So for last week's notes, I've got 4 pages of notes.
Good lord.
But don't worry, it's not. There's just 2 of those are from last time.
Well, we'll try and keep the responses quite short and snappy as much as we can.
Yeah, we'll try.
Okay, this first one I can't remember the context. So Vix has emailed us.
Hello, Vix.
And said, first off, they're saying, so this is presumably responding to something we've said on episode 44 or before. I can't even remember now.
If you're responding to something specifically, can you put an episode number and the quote of what you're responding to? That would make our lives so much easier.
No, it's fine. No, because it's fine. So it says, as one of those miserable sorts that gets to occasionally toss some paint on stuff for other people, Snipe's little expose on the nature of a starving artist was very gratifying.
Oh yeah, no, I remember that rant now.
But, yeah. But also, they also mentioned that it's painfully obvious you're casual when it comes to paperclips. And I can't remember you talking about paperclips.
Well, I haven't played it, so yeah, actually.
No, not the game, the actual physical object.
Oh no, I'm a total paperclip nerd. Yeah, no, like noob. Sorry.
Yeah, he sent through a picture of something they'd made with paperclips, and basically, it was a pretty epic 40k model of a held together by paperclips.
Oh, nice.
So I can't remember what your claim to fame with paperclips was. I can send you the picture.
I've probably got one stuck in my nose at some point. That sounds like me.
Oh, there we go. I've just sent you over the. So this one, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pictures. I'm going to be sending you on Skype at various points in questions.
Nice.
as reference material. Which, for the listeners, you don't actually have to see to get the thing, but I'll send it over to these guys so they can respond.
Oh, wow. That's pretty fucking rad, actually.
Entirely held together by thousands of paper clips,
Jesus, okay.
Excellent. It's a Thunderhawk, by the way, for people at home.
It's very nice.
Couple of questions. Have any of us seen the new Death of Hope trailer? Which is apparently a 40k thing.
Oh, that's the...
Is that the 30k one?
Yes, it's arranged around Calf, I believe. Yes, I've seen it. Looks quite hopeful. It's
but there's no hope because it's dead.
But yeah, it's a little short of world eaters and ultramarines fighting mostly. It seems
Cool.
Looks pretty cool. The models that they've got for it, like the Heresy era Marines and like Contemptor Dreads, all look really good, and they're showing a bit more of like the civilians, like in scale with the Marines fighting, which is an interesting kind of perspective you don't see very often. But yeah, looks pretty neat. I'll be very interested to see the final thing.
Okie dokie. 2 speed questions.
Okay.
Thoughts on using a Horus Heresy verse 40k as a mythos or theme, presumably for a game?
Is that 30k versus 40k?
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you just read the question again?
Any thoughts on the Horus Heresy versus 40k as a mythos/theme?
Oh, okay. Is this a Horus Heresy like story like canon versus other 40k canon? Like what do we like better?
Do they mean like what do people like better? The Horus Heresy era or the 40k era?
I'm not sure.
I'm not really sure what they mean, but if that's the case,
I like it when Space Marines.
They both have their strengths.
They do, like Space Marines. Screamy boy.
No, literally I've copied it word for word off the email.
Okay.
And finally, what are your favourite types/genres of games to stream as a group? Just curious, and they thought the Cuphead Halloween one was good.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was like one of my favourite streams ever.
I think my favourite genre of stream, considering I've done one, so it's not the best. Yeah, but I don't have the best reference rate, but my favourite type is drunk streams.
Honestly, I love drunk streams. They're great fun, and it just gives me an excuse to drink. Which, as if I need one.
I quite like things that don't require that much brain power, so you can just natter.
Yeah, I like natter games. That's a lot of fun.
Something like Slime Rancher was a good one for that. So I did that with Longfang. So yeah, we were just able to talk because basically I'm just because I've played the game a lot and it's a fairly basic game mechanically. So yeah.
No, I do really like the have a little bit of a drink. Don't get drunk or whatever, just have a bit of a drink and play something kind of easy and just chill out with chat for a bit.
Yeah, I quite like doing that. Yeah. Or alternately, I remember one stream I did really enjoy was when I went through and beat like the last 4 or 5 bosses of Dark Souls 3 on stream. Some of the harder ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something you don't have to think about, right?
Yeah, something that you can just like breeze through.
Oh, that was a very different type of stream though.
Yeah.
But yeah. I would say, yeah. Simple games are usually quite nice because you get to chat.
No, I hear that. I also like the ones when drama mats in the country and everyone makes up like this awesome like stories about War Master Ruth or Ruth the Betrayer. That was fucking amazing and I love it.
So the ones you like are the ones when I'm in the country because of who I bring with me, not because it's me.
No, kind of.
Thanks.
But no. I love having you both there. It was great.
Moving on. Warboss Gazantooth asks if there's any chance we'll see a live stream of 40k, either real life or one tabletop sim.
Unlikely.
I think it's live stream, very unlikely.
Live stream,
a video, probably.
A video is something that honestly we've been meaning to do for years, and we've been promising to do for years, and it's just sheer logistical things that we haven't done it.
Yeah,
it's going to happen.
So it's just on the back burner for now.
Yeah,
yeah. I think I mentioned I do have tabletop sim now, so. Nice. At some point, we should have a go at doing a battle on that, and then have a think about how it might work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can do that.
Next question. Omar. Hey guys, could you share your thoughts on the Imperial Guard? Such as the models, like the infantry and vehicles, collectors and players, how a guard army plays lore, blah blah blah.
In
general thoughts on the guards.
I think the guard are pretty cool. The only real encounters I've had with people who play guardsmen are people who do like turbo tournament kind of cheese, and I hate.
Omar is a guard player before you.
Okay, no, I'm saying that there are certain types of players, like the ones like I've encountered a few like Warhammer World, who they'll have like, oh, here's my 48 Lehman Russ tanks, and fuck you, and that kind of tournament build does bug me because. It's all about having fun, guys. Can't we just have fun?
Yeah. The only time I've ever played against an Imperial Guard player was in a friendly tournament, and it was the GW employee that was running it, and it was like a 750-point list, and they put 3 Lehman Russes in it. And it's like, well...
I don't think that guy should have been allowed to enter.
I just kind of squirreled them at the edge of the board, so it was just the 14 armour facing me, and I'm like, well... What can I do about that? At that point range, I'm not going to have anything that can do that well against that.
And wasn't it after he thrashed you, he dropped out anyway?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like one of my very few experiences with guard in tournaments anyway.
But from a lore perspective, I kind of like them. Like,
no, I like that. I love them lore wise. They're fucking badass. Like they do all the shit. Like they get sent to do worse things than Marines do. And they get none of the fucking credit.
And they've got none of the abilities.
They've got none of the abilities. So, like, you know, the Marines show
They've
up.
They've got ability. You go, little guardsman.
No, I mean, compared to, like, a Marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're just people.
Yeah, I'd
love
a guard army.
I think there's something really wonderful about Imperial Guardsmen. I think that is really cool, and it sucks how hard they have it and how they never get any credit for anything.
Maybe one day I'll go back and carry on with my... sort of half-made Imperial Guard army. There's actually a Renegade Cornate Guard army that I was making. But yeah, the Guard are good overall.
Yeah, I'd love a Guard army, but I don't have the patience to paint that many dudes.
Yeah.
And I'd want a troops bait. I wouldn't want just as many tanks.
Yeah,
tanks are cool, don't get me wrong.
Tanks are cool, but yeah.
I want a lot of dudes in said tanks, but I don't have the time to paint them. I do have the time, who am I kidding? But I don't have the effort to paint them. I just don't want to. Okay, moving on. Completely random question. An unnamed person asked if we've seen the film Waterloo.
No.
Waterloo.
Which is apparently, I have not seen it. The few bits he said, it's a Russian film.
Okay.
And it has either 15,000 or 25,000, they weren't sure, Soviet soldiers as extras.
Oh.
So they have huge scenes with ridiculous amount of people and no CGI.
That's actually pretty rare.
It's all just like they have a ridiculous amount of extras.
Okay. I will
about
at least...
about the Battle of Waterloo, surprisingly enough from the name.
Okay, that sounds like something that...
Presumably the Soviet soldiers are not dressed as Soviet soldiers. But yeah, no, it sounds really interesting.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
I haven't had time to check it out.
But yeah,
sounds
interesting.
Sounds cool. Right, that's all the backlog we've got rid of.
Okay, cool.
Now the ones that I checked this morning, because I totally check these far in advance of recording. Honest. I really should, because I just get to the day of podcasting and I'm like, oh, check the emails, and today we had like 25 emails. Okay, so that's the end of the backlog to this week's questions. So Leon asked, if you guys in the band were the different Primarchs, which ones would each of us be?
I don't know.
Dicko would be Mortarian.
Is that because of the poo thing?
Yeah, that's exactly why. I'd obviously be Russ, because I'm a big shouty idiot who runs at things without thinking. I'm not hearing a disagreement.
I'd probably be Dawn, because I'm quite dull.
No, you're a serious yellow daddy.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of who drummer Matt would be. Vulcan.
Vulcan, yeah.
Yeah, definitely Vulcan.
Oh, no, probably Ferrus Manus.
Ferrus Manus, you reckon? Oh, yes.
With his cold-ass hands.
With his cold-ass hands.
I don't have ass hands. Okay.
You just show up as a ghost form and tell us that we're all weak.
Zoe would be Magnus the Red.
Zoe would definitely be Magnus the Red. Denton is Horus.
Yeah, I can go with that. That's fine. That's fine.
War Master Denton.
Okay. Next up, a curious cogboy.
Aww.
First up, because apparently we asked for pictures of dogs, and I can't remember doing that, but we've
No,
got a few.
I always want pictures of dogs.
Sent us a picture of their dogs.
Oh, I want to see the puppies.
I've sent the picture through.
Oh, they're skinny boys.
There are two, look like greyhounds possibly, or some sort of skinny lurchery greyhound type thing.
I think they're lovely.
Well, thank you for the dogs. They are good dogs.
There's a few more of those, just spoilers, but there's a couple more of those.
That's fine.
Quick question from them as well. What are your genuine opinions on the Mechanicum from lore and gameplay perspective?
We never dealt with them on gameplay.
Never.
So I couldn't say anything about that. Lore-wise, I think they're interesting. I haven't read too much about them, although I have recently bought the book Mechanicum, so I will be reading about them relatively soon.
I think they're fun. Scary, but fun.
Yeah. Next up, Farseer Shanus again. I got complimented on the pronouncing the name, which is why I got it wrong then.
Okay, you're just being a spiteful.
So they were the person who asked about different thoughts on different armies in 40k, and then we went on a big anti-Eldar rant effectively. I forgot to show you the photo they sent with the initial question, which could have either put us off or persuaded us more to insult the Eldar.
Okay, no, that's made me see the error of my ways. That's a very good picture.
So,
just so people know, it is a picture of I don't know if it's them, but it's someone dressed up as an Eldar with Merry Christmas,
lounging very regally on a couch, I'd say.
Yes, Merry Christmas, dirty Monkey or Monkey.
I prefer Monkey, but okay.
So yeah, I probably should have mentioned that before we went on a big anti-Eldar. They have a couple of quick questions.
Sure.
Have we played any D&D video games?
I played Neverwinter Nights is based on D&D, like mechanically, right?
I played Baldur's Gate for like 10 minutes and got really angry at it.
Oh, I played Baldur's Gate not when it was brand new, but when it was like pretty new. I think Baldur's Gate 2. I think I played around when that came out.
I played it when
I didn't really realise it was anything to do with D&D because I didn't really know what D&D was at the time.
Ooh.
Yeah, I did play some of Baldur's Gate 1 as well. Yeah.
Neverwinter. I also played on the PS2. This was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance and Dark Alliance 2, which was a hack and slash type thing. But it was beautiful at the time. PS2 game, it was beautiful. It had like amazing like water effects when you went through water, and it was just a top-down hack and slashy type thing. Yeah. But I really enjoyed those. They were really highly recommended. They might not have held up well, I don't know. But at the time, they looked amazing.
Yeah, I can't say like a lot of the old D&D games were really my thing. I did briefly play D&D Online.
Where you had Looking for Ham.
Yeah, that was one of the
and would lay on tables.
I played as a Warforged, which are like the big golem things.
Yeah, that sounds like
nice.
I didn't play it very much, because I think I had a shitty internet connection at the time, so MMOs were sort of a little bit beyond me for the most part, but I gave it a go, and I was like, it's fine. I much prefer actual D&D to most of the video game adaptations I've ever played, honestly.
Same.
Yeah, fair enough. A final, also D&D related question. How do you, so presumably me, how do I keep your bumblefucks / murder hobos alive, given none have healing spells?
Okay, I'm not a murder hobo.
I was going to say, first thing up, you guys are the polar opposite of murder hobos.
We are procrastination Percies.
Yeah. Bumblefucks is not an entirely inaccurate description.
Stop giving him words to describe us, guys.
No, that was a word they suggested
I know,
to us.
I'm telling them to stop giving you words that accurately describe us. If it's not heroic or fantastic, I don't care. In response to the question, refer to the conversation 20 minutes ago, in that I barely do. And then they have to find healing potions off each other just to stabilise themselves. Yeah.
They've so far killed one character and brought 2 to unconsciousness, and they're at level 2. To which I would say, level 2, you only have like 10 hit points or something. It's so easy. Because if you're going at just a bad dice roll is enough to kill you at that early level, and as you get higher up, I think it gets less easily to die because of bad. You have to get consistently bad dice rolls to die. Whereas early levels, one hit that if like you're fighting a goblin that crits you and then rolls max damage on both crit dice, that's most first level characters dead.
Yeah.
and there's nothing you can do about it. So I think as you get higher levels, it does get easier to not accidentally kill your players.
Your players.
Players. But yeah, none of you are healing, which is interesting. But then, yeah, as a rule, you don't... In-battle healing is usually a bad idea. Usually just using your actions to kill the baddies is better. Yeah. The one exception to that being, you, Nathan, when you died in the first turn.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Okay.
And you were saying, like, don't bother, just keep fighting. And I was like... Just as a slight out of character note, this character, it's a hard battle for 4 people. If there's only 3 of you...
Well, I was worried that someone would come over and help me up, and then they'd get fucking sandblasted as well. So I was like, shit.
But in general. Okay, moving on. So Caleb asked what your thoughts were in regards to fan fiction, and how long, but more specifically, how long do you think a good fan fiction would be?
Well, I mean, it depends on what it is. Sometimes a story needs to be long as the story needs to be.
Yeah, well, that's what they say. They said their story is a harem story involving the Adeptus Podcasters guys that is dedicated to Magnus in an anime high school.
Oh God!
in the warp.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm glad that there's
they don't want to push the gimmick too far, which I think is probably good advice.
I would say, inwardly, you know how long a story should be. And you'll feel when you're writing a story and you get to a certain point and you start feeling like, it's going to end soon, just end it there. Because padding it out, everyone will know. And it won't be to this, it won't be naturally what is for the story.
I mean, I can't speak much for writing fiction, but as a general rule, because I've written a lot of scripts, when you write something... Once you've written the first draft of it, usually remove at least 10% of it, up to a quarter of it, and you probably get something that's tighter.
Well, yeah, editing.
Yeah,
but I'm saying in the initial kind of thing, just write what you feel, and then go through and kind of be a little bit harsh with it.
Yeah, is this necessary?
Yeah, you have to try and emotionally disattach from it and be like, is this really necessary? Because you might love a scene, but it might not actually contribute anything to the story at large. That is the hardest part. But no, I guess wing it.
Yeah. How long does a story need to be? As long as it needs to be.
Yeah.
Okay, good advice.
Fantastic
Moving
advice!
Eric Dutenhaver sends a picture of their dog called Finn.
Okay.
Oh, I want to see the puppy.
I'll send you the picture. It's another adorable dog.
Oh, that's a good puppy.
That is a good dog.
He's doing big sleeps. I love that puppy dog.
And they have a question. They say, have you ever gotten to the end of a video game and hit a difficulty spike so high that you never actually finished the game? They did it with Xenoblade Chronicles X. They said it was pretty good, but to beat the final boss, they would have had to grind another 5 hours, and they just thought,
hell.
Nah, fuck it.
No, that's fair. I wouldn't say that I've had that. I've had something similar with MGS2 all those years ago, where because they have it has a new game plus where you can change difficulty on your new game plus, and I went through from very easy to European Extreme, and I got to European Extreme. And I was breezing through it, I was doing fine, and I got to Fat Man. And I am still stuck on that fight till this day. That save is fucking bricked. I can't do anything with it. I should have alternated my saves, but I was fucking 15. That was a bit beyond me. So yeah, that I have a whole save that I went through. I was getting all the fucking dog tags. I was getting all that. Yeah, no, fucked it. So that's the closest thing I think I have to that. But I guess I just don't play that many hard games.
The closest I can think of, because I can't think of anything offhand. Because usually, if a game is, I've rarely encountered that. Well, the final boss is so merciless, I haven't been able to beat it. Usually, a game that is that hard, I would have usually given up on long before. The closest I can think of is something like Penance from Final Fantasy X.
Oh yeah, fuck that.
Which is not the final boss, but it is the hardest. It's the hardest optional boss in the game, and I've beaten every other boss, all the Dark Aeons, everything else. But I had that's the one thing I hadn't beaten, and I just kind of looked at it, and it's like I'd basically have to restructure the sphere grid for all my characters and redo everything, and I just went, yeah, fuck it, I'm not doing that.
You ever go for Ruby Weapon?
I've kind of half-heartedly tried. That's the only thing in Final Fantasy VII I've never beaten.
I spent a week trying to take it down, and just basically kept hitting a dead point, because what it does is, like, the moment you start, it just removes 2 of your characters.
Yeah, that tends to be it. It's less of the final bosses. It's more like the ludicrously hard optional bosses that I get to a point and go, fuck it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Drummer Butt?
Yeah, I can't think of any examples, to be honest. There's a couple of games I've played and I've kind of got bored, and stopped for that reason.
Yeah,
yeah. No, I can't think of any off the top of my head that I've stopped because they got too hard. There probably is.
There's probably one I just can't remember, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll remember as soon as we finish recording.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sod's Law, we always
Next up, from Aben, a book suggestion. So no question.
Okay.
Have you heard Dark Matter by Michelle Paver?
I have not heard of it, but I have now.
Apparently, so the gist is it was set just prior to World War II, and it's basically a ghost story in the vein of M.R. James, who I also don't know who that is.
I'm not that well read.
No, I'm a bad person, probably. So it follows Jack Miller, a radio operator, who is part of a team taking geological and meteorological readings in a remote part of the Norwegian Arctic called Gruhaken. As winter draws in, it becomes clear that they aren't alone in the long dark.
Oh my god.
Yeah, apparently it's a spooky and atmospheric.
Honestly, that sounds like a me book.
It does sound more like a you book than me book.
Okay, no, thank you very much for that. I'm actually going to go check that out. Because I want to be scared about the Gree block, about the Grimlock. No, that sounds fucking rad. It's like that Spanish horror movie about a bunch of soldiers in the trenches that I had to stop watching because it was too boring. It's like, but the premise is fucking perfect. I love like World War II spooky shit, or like World War spooky shit, because it's like technology isn't at a point where
stuff is as easily explainable.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, you can't just get your phone out and turn the torch on and take a picture.
Yeah, and you can't just phone someone up going, hey, there's a fucking ghost in here or whatever. You can't phone up MTV. So it's like...
Yeah.
It's just... I think it's because it's a different world and it's so much more isolated. It's so much more scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really, really interested in that. No, thank you for that. That's very cool.
Okay. Next up, Inquisitor Jerboa. A couple of questions. First up...
Jerboa. No, wink, wink, say no more.
What do you guys think of the Eisenhorn model?
Well, we gotta own it.
Yeah, we are on a bound to own a Greg.
I do like the Greg.
It looks really good.
It does look good.
Looks like a really good sculpt. I like it. Yes.
Yeah, they're definitely going to get one apparently. So
definitely, it's a good idea. Good old Greg.
Next, they say, first up, what's your favourite PC game of all time? Which is a big question. But I think more to the point, you can answer that as well. But they've just said they've got a new PC and are looking for suggestions, basically, for games to play.
Well, my favourite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII, and that does have a PC port, so does that count?
They've got a new computer, which is really funny because I was going to suggest Blood, because that's like one unit whole Blood, which is like oh my god, I fucking love that game.
You've never mentioned that before.
I know.
What is this game?
Oh, it's a first-person shooter. Yeah, you on the fucking building. But yeah, I would say maybe for a new computer test, Blood and Final Fantasy VII are probably not good tests.
That'll test that they sent some of the specs through, and that will definitely not at all test any of that.
No. Far Cry 3, I really, really like Far Cry 3. Thought that was really good.
The problem is that a lot of like modern games that will test it are released on all platforms now. So,
But I mean, I would never play an FPS or a shooting game on a console because I've just become too accustomed to it. Yeah, like Sniper Elite v what's the latest one?
4.
Sniper Elite 4's good, and that's really pretty. That's you do shooty bangs.
Honestly, it's kind of a funny one because most of my favourite games are available on PC, but they're not exclusive to PC. I guess like Binding of Isaac Rebirth
That'll really push their new specs to the limit.
But again, that's even though that did come out on
Solitaire. That's a good one.
Even though that came out on multiple systems, that still was like a PC game initially.
Yeah.
But no, congrats on your new rig.
Finally, their last question. They say they're massively into 8th edition.
Cool.
But basically, no one else at their school does.
Well, they're wrong.
And they go to a boarding school, so their friendly local gaming club is the other side of the country because that's not where they are all the time.
Oh, dude.
So basically, this has said, please help.
Did you hear that?
I assume they want suggestions rather than rescuing. Yeah, it's gone to pick you up from school.
Yep.
I don't know. I do want to try playing.
To adopt you.
We're not adopting like podcast listeners.
I guess I really want to try playing a game on Tabletop Sim. See how that goes.
Yeah, I recommend Tabletop Simulator. It's not particularly elegant, but it does the job.
I guess you can probably find someone to play like that. It is a tricky thing if no one wants to play the edition that you're used to. I mean, I guess all you can do is try and get a few people to play some games, and then try and find like the way that they would be more comfortable playing that particular edition. I don't know. It is a funny one.
It's a very tricky one, yeah.
I don't really have any particularly helpful advice there, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
No, I guess if there is literally no one to play with there, just do it online, like how we do with D&D. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing.
It's something, yeah.
And you can find all sorts of people online, and some of them aren't, like, creepy.
Some of them on our Discord.
Okay, we're on to the last page. 2 people left.
Okay.
Some guy camping.
Okay, is that a statement?
That's the name.
Okay.
What advice would you give to a new YouTuber besides an upload schedule? They've just started their own gaming content and want to improve.
Don't expect to make money. Like that's just the way it goes. You might be lucky and become like super rich and famous, and that's great. Apart from a schedule, just keep making videos.
Experiment.
Keep making videos. Experiment. Do things that you want to do. Don't try and do things that you know will get views. Although if you want to do that, sometimes that's fine. And just don't try and be anyone else. I know that sounds like I'm like, oh yes, being very judgmental, but none of us can really help it because we are all amalgams of people we care about and we have cared about over the years and things we like. So you will accidentally copy a couple of other people's formats or like maybe, oh, this person has a catchphrase, I'll have a catchphrase. But, like, just try as hard as you can to just be you, because that's what makes you awesome, and that's why people will watch. Not because they want to see an impersonation of someone else. They like you.
Yeah, basically don't try and imitate. Imitating someone else's style, like, down to the T is not... Is just gonna come across like a pale imitation of someone else, but your style being sort of a mixture of multiple other people's.
Yeah, like having a mixture of influences. That I think that's the key word, is influence.
Like the regular Snipe and Whip Play series is like originally kind of started as a sort of combination of like a regular Let's Play.
Mixed in with Channel Awesome kind of style editing.
Yeah, and what's his name? Is it Cricken or Criken are you supposed to pronounce it?
I think you're supposed to pronounce it Criken.
But his sort of very highly edited reels was sort of a very, like, an inspiration for that kind of format. Yeah. And then we sort of took, thing from like more kind of review style videos, like the kind of editing style. And that sort of informed a lot of the editing jokes that ended up in the videos, and it gradually just became its own little weird format.
That's the thing. From where you start and to where you'll be in, say, 6 months will be radically different.
Yeah.
So don't worry. Just keep at it and keep doing what you enjoy.
And don't worry about trying new things. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't work, but at least you've tried.
And usually something that you'll really, really like, a video you'll really, really like and think is fantastic, no one will watch.
But the one that you spent 10 minutes on is the one that gets 1 million fucking views.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can put, like, ye in it or something, that's what you need to do.
Also, don't put ye in it. Don't listen to Drummer Matt. That's my number one YouTuber, like, tip. Don't listen to Drummer Matt.
Yeah, but my channel's so successful and popular.
What channel's yours? We'll link you.
Just link the email address. That's my YouTube channel.
Oh, God.
Finally, we've got to the very last person, and they did not have a question. They just sent a picture of their dogs.
Okay. Can't help
So
but
we
feel
have 2 more
maybe
dogs
you
for
could
you.
have formatted this better, but okay.
Who was this person that sent us dogs? What was their name?
Walker Rollins.
Okay.
Thank you for
Sent
your
us
dogs.
2 dogs. There is 2 dogs. The grey one is Romulus and the black one is Remus.
Good.
Good.
You'll get them eventually.
Yeah.
They're brothers. They're brothers, and they were found by the roadside, and they've adopted them. And now they're doing really well.
Good on you.
Bless those puppies.
Also, I will say,
amazing.
you can start sending us dogs. We're gonna open a PO box. Send us your actual dogs.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The mailing address is PO box. Send us your actual dogs.
Send us your actual dogs.
That's all you have to write on the envelope is PO box. Send us your actual dogs. Just just sellotape that, an envelope with that on it, to the side of the dog.
I'm sure it'll fit in the post box.
Don't jam it in the post box. The dogs know what to do.
Yeah.
The dogs are fine.
The dogs will find their way here.
Those are some gorgeous dogs, though.
They
They
are.
are
I
gorgeous.
love those dogs.
Also, if for next time, now we've got the backlog out the way, if you want to send us a question, you need to send it to onlydrummermatt@snipeandwib@gmail.com.
Oh, every time I hear it, it's like, that was such a fucking stupid idea.
I know. But
That's great.
yeah. So that's all the questions and emails sorted out then.
It is.
Good. So
My conscience is clear.
Good.
I mean, that we've had, because I would go through and I do reply to nearly all of them. Apart from the endorsement deal we were offered, I didn't reply to that because it was blatantly scam.
What was it an endorsement deal for?
Their lifestyle brand. Which all of the links to their website linked you to some properly dodgy link, and if you just typed in their actual website, it didn't exist.
Oh, so
I was like,
So we got an endorsement deal from a virus.
yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
It opened up with almost literally word to the word. We are very fond of your YouTube channel /blog/
They didn't even
content.
delete where applicable. Fucking hell.
Pretty much.
It's
yeah.
like we get a load of scam ones from from people on SoundCloud going, hey, the MisanthroPod, we heard your latest track we heard your latest song, and we think you need a record. You're like, really? The 2-hour rambling? You thought that was a good bit of music?
I want this on vinyl. I didn't realise this was a thing that I wanted.
Oh, it's just got it's just much more of a warm sound.
Nice tone, you know what I'm saying?
Christ.
Oh, fucking hell.
But anyway,
Yeah,
endorsement deals aside, we should probably wrap up.
I think so.
Yes.
So, thank you everybody for joining us. This has been another quite long one, I'm afraid, but it's probably okay.
Yeah, we're out of practice at keeping them short. It's fine.
People don't seem to mind, so it's okay.
People like them long.
People like them long, don't you? You at home, you like them long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm so glad we've ended on such a fucking high. Why? We love you guys, but why do you listen to this?
No, that's the thing. No one gets this far through it.
Oh no, that's true.
They
That's
love the first 15 minutes. Super fucking good.
Anything further than that is just blasphemy. No one cares.
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
No one gives a fuck. That's fine. I tune in and out anyways.
Yeah.
So goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.